Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to T3PO Live! My name is VashSky. I'm your host of today's ceremonies today. Goodness gracious, I am still in Palm Springs enjoying this wonderful weather out here before it gets really hot in the months of, June, July, August. Oh, it's terrible. But you know what? Right now it is especially lovely, and just actually visited Cotino over the week there, and boy, oh boy, that place is really something. We're going to have more coverage of that next week, I believe, because this week, man, we are just chock full of so much interesting, amazing stuff. In fact, after the show last week, that being T3PO Live, of course, well, right when we were going off, Universal announced a huge theme park in the United Kingdom, which we'll go over in detail on today's show. And just a whole bunch of other stuff that's been going on in the theme park world. But I would be remiss if I didn't actually invite the panel on and have them join us for this amazing discussion. Let's see here. Well, straight out of Germany, it would be the one, the only Erica from Erica and Raph has decided to join us. Erica, hello there. Ooh, let me go ahead and change the view. There you go. Hello there.
Hello. How are you?
Yes, I am doing just fine. Thank you so much. People really enjoyed the points that you pointed out, actually, in the last show talking about Epic Universe. We're going to be talking about more of that today, which is going to be great for you to have on. And I know. I just love talking about Epic Universe. It's great. And somebody who loves it, too, is the one, the only LW Ghost. Hello there, Lou. Nope.
You're muted.
Maybe he's still muted for a reason. Here, we'll go ahead and leave Lou on screen right there.
Oh. Sorry about that, guys.
There you
go. There we go.
People call at the most inopportune times. At least they were trying to sell me something. So I take that as a positive.
Hey, you're just fine. It looks like the call was just in time to be concluded, at least for this show, and we're grateful to have you on.
I got one earlier today from some recording from Arkansas telling me if I'm having problems with my car, I should call roadside assistance. And I'm going, what the hell in Arkansas? When I'm sitting here you talked about weather earlier. It was 84 degrees yesterday at 7:30 here. Today it only got to 61 and it's going down to 41. So weather is a strange thing.
Weather is a little bit strange, but somebody who's not strange, but goes to maybe strange places. Well, I guess if you consider Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm strange. Well, the one, the only, Bear Place 28. Hello there, Bob.
Yeah, I guess it can be strange, right?
It can be a little strange. We're going to talk about that, how strange it can be today, actually.
Is
But go
Dr.
ahead.
Strange not there anymore? I don't know, but that would make it strange.
Well, he shows up every once in a while for a photo op, but he doesn't. So that got canceled last summer.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we were all looking at that guy playing Luke Skywalker at Galaxy's Edge and saying there's something wrong with his hair. And then I saw Mark Hamill's latest pronouncements and decided the problem is his hair isn't blue. So Mark, and I guess there is another Luke Skywalker out there, and that's been making the rounds. If I can find it in the show, I'm sorry, on Twitter, I will show it to you guys. But if you thought the last Luke Skywalker actor didn't look quite like Luke, well, it's better than the one they have now currently. So, but it's tough to cast for this stuff. Okay, but those people playing all the characters at the Isle of Berk are so good. Have you seen some of these clips? And of course, all the other places too. That guy doing Igor in Dark Universe is pretty fantastic. But the what is it? The two characters, who are they? From How to Train Your Dragon, the twins or whatever. Yeah, I mean, those people physically, they have the spindly legs of the animated characters, and they have the erratic movements down pat. So, here we go. Well, this is the 1960s Beach Boys version, I guess. Right?
It's an interesting look that they're going for right here. Some people were having a lot of fun on this on Twitter, but the meet and greet experiences that people have been privy to at Epic Universe have been really, really awesome. I'll go ahead and get some up in the background here while we talk about some stuff that's going on. But oh boy, I am nervous putting this one on screen because it involves birthday suits. Here we go. Disneyland news today here. Naked man climbs atop Tiana's palace structure in Disneyland. Apparently, a naked man climbed atop one of the structures of Tiana's palace.
I have been known when I get home from an engagement to want to just sort of strip down and get comfortable. But how do these people undress fast enough that nobody notices until they've already climbed a building? I don't get that part at all. Or do they just stand there saying, well, it must be part of the show. I guess Disney really is going.
That's somebody who went streaking down Main Street or something.
Yeah, and well, I've got the video here.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, in the video, cast members are directing guest traffic away from the area while apologizing for the unfortunate circumstance. I don't have that video. I did see that video. I think it was taken down, but the cast members were kind of crowding around that area and trying to redirect traffic and trying to, lessen the impact of what people were actually seeing there. That's kind of hard to do.
They need to give Tinkerbell a taser instead of
we might need to actually.
Imagine
that. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's in the wand actually.
Yeah, well, that's
right there. Let's see here. Here we go. We're gonna try our luck here, guys. I think I might only play this one.
As long as she doesn't say Patronus, she'll be okay. So you're Junkus,
and that's as large as it's gonna be right there. It's very, very small.
Well, don't mention size when dealing with naked people.
It's.
Oh my gosh! What a moron!
He was.
He was climbing all over.
It's a Canadian. Well, that explains it. The Canadian.
What
resident.
was he high on? I want to know what he took.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to know.
Yeah, not good right
Must
there.
be those beignets. That's
Oh,
all I can
gosh.
say.
What?
That
That was
wasn't
a really
powdered
bad
sugar on the
dare.
beignet.
I was supposed to. I wanted to go to Disneyland that day. Unfortunately, I had a funeral to go to and celebration of life, so I didn't make it. But I wanted to celebrate Theme Park Casual because he had hit a milestone of 5,000 subs. So he was doing a 16-hour stream inside the Tiki Room, and a bunch of friends had showed up to help him out and all that stuff. While they were doing that, this was going on, and they had no idea this was happening. And so I kind of teased them later. I'm like, "See
So
what
that
you
gives
spent 16 hours in the
Gives
Tiki
a
Room."
whole new meaning to the lyric. If we weren't in the show starting right away, we'd be in the audience too.
No, well, hang on. Okay, so I wanted to break this down because I saw Theme Park Casual stream right there, and I saw that he was in the Tiki Room all day. How many times did he actually see the show?
I lost count. I want to say it was 47 times you end up seeing the show, something like that.
That would have driven me nuts.
Crazy, right?
That's wild.
I can do
That's
that.
so-
But good
And for him anyway, that song will be the earwig, not Small World, right? From now on for the rest of his life. Anytime he hits a drum, he'll break out in the Hawaiian War Chant.
Oh man, that is some unique dedication right there. Well, apparently for this gentleman right here, he wasn't in the Tiki Room. He was in Tiana's Palace, and as soon as he made his way off of that, apparently he went towards a tree, tried to climb that, and that's when security surrounded him. And I believe that was the end of the incident right there. But we have seen a number of incidents like this at Disneyland for some unknown reason. Well, at Disney in general, I should say, because
Disneyland? What about Disney World?
I was just about to say Disney World, not free from that.
Crazy's in Florida. Got to get them Florida men and Florida women.
Well, what about
You gotta make
apparently
their
there was a
headline.
story that one of the guests of one of these special people who got to go to Epic early was caught shoplifting from the stores and arrested.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I
video
didn't
right there.
hear that.
Bring up their kids right anymore, and we are all paying the price. So
Yeah, I didn't.
have popcorn poured on us in a movie theater. So
I was thinking about covering that story, but I decided against it because we simply didn't know much about it. But there is a video going around where somebody who I think narrates the video says that somebody on camera actually shoplifted, and there were cops involved and so forth. So
should be. And certainly the person who was an employee or something that got him in should be terminated.
you would think. I mean, if you sign somebody in like that, again, you have a lot of paperwork to fill out when you actually do something like that. They can track you down pretty easily. And I mean, I would think that the team member who might have invited him might no longer work for Universal, which, I mean, if it was something where maybe they didn't understand that was going to happen, that's very, very unfortunate. But you can see right here, Florida man tries to fight women in a wheelchair at Epcot. It's as bad as it sounds. And also, too, Florida man grabs guest by the neck after mistaking that he was cut in line for a Walt Disney World bus.
Oh, God.
We've just had a number of these kind of altercations here at Disney, and I don't know how many of them are induced by alcohol or alcohol consumption or other things going on, but it's just very, very strange why this is actually occurring. Go ahead, please.
I don't know for a fact that there are fewer security people visible than in the old days, but I have fond memories of when I had season tickets at Dodger Stadium for 20 some odd years. And at Dodger Stadium, they used to have an usher, not a security guard, but the kids in the straw boaters and the blue dresses or blazers. At every inning break, they would walk all the way down the aisle, stand at the front at the rail, and walk all the way back up while the organ played. And they would smile, or they'd hand out all-star ballots, and they weren't being, but it told everybody, if you do something, you will be seen, and it kept a lid on it. And then they thought, hey, we don't have to have every aisle. We can do every other aisle, or every third aisle, or every fourth aisle. And the more they cut it back to that, the worse things got, with people getting drunk and people getting in fights and people slapping their kids and all kinds of other things. And you just have to have a sense. That's why I've always said, and I have no knowledge, you guys, that's why that booth in Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland it's so visible with the glow from TV monitors. It's to tell everybody in that boat down there, if you try and do something stupid, they're going to see you and do something about it. And it works, or has. Nowadays, I guess people think, oh, good, I'll get on YouTube with that video or TikTok or something. Anyway, the point is, if you make it clear to people that misbehavior will be A, noticed, and B, punished appropriately, then the only ones who don't care are the people who are seriously high. I saw one the other day of some guy at Disney World who was totally whack-ball out of it, and they were arresting him, and it was out in the parking lot because they'd gotten him out of the park. And yeah, he admitted, I didn't take my drugs for whatever mental condition he had, but he was also absolutely plastered on alcohol. And the obvious question is, who overserved him and why did they do that?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question because I have heard numerous reports out of Epcot where people are just, they drink around the world, so to speak, and unfortunately it gets the better of them. Bob, have you noticed anything at Disney California Adventure? I know Disneyland is largely a dry park, but not so at its sister park across the way. What have you noticed?
Yeah, there's not a lot of issues over there. Most everyone, is responsible when they're drinking over there and doing things. But I mean, I've seen a couple of tipsy people, but it's very far and few between. Even with the food and wine festival going on, people don't go overboard.
I wonder if that's a phenomenon of it being largely a locals park and everybody's got to drive home, as opposed to be bused to a hotel where they can pass out.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm just speculating,
I mean, there are quite a few people that actually take Ubers, back to their hotels or, back to where they live. But yeah, I just think that most people are pretty responsible. It's just every once in a while, it's unfortunate that we see these stories like this. That's pretty extreme, obviously, at Tiana's Palace and what happened at, It's a Small World, last year, but, or was it earlier this year?
Right.
But still, most everyone is pretty responsible. And as soon as someone starts to kind of get out of hand, usually security moves in pretty quickly to, take care or resolve the situation. I have seen, I want to say in the last 3 weeks, I've seen a couple of, situations where security's had to come over to talk to people, but not because they were intoxicated or drunk. It was just because either they got into it with someone else or a family member. And it's unfortunate to see stuff like that. That seems to be happening a little bit more than you actually see people, doing crazy stuff like getting intoxicated at the park.
Yeah. It's just, I hope.
I know what I would have said had I been there watching this guy. I would have said, what do you know? It's a small world after all.
Well, that was the big joke about Small World.
Right.
But it's tough. I think, obviously these are places in which people bring their families and are looking to escape into a world outside their own, and to have those spaces taken down.
Not just outside their own,
others.
but safe.
Yes. Yeah.
Safe.
And it does make me wonder, I've heard from like Alan Ng, for example, about Disney security and the changes being made there. And I just wonder, with the complexities of going to a theme park nowadays, with the stress level that it can induce sometimes, what they may be doing to mitigate some of this stuff. I hope Disney is looking into that, because it does seem to be, at least on either coast, these incidents are maybe not getting worse, but they're certainly getting more notoriety as social media becomes more ubiquitous within our culture.
Well, everybody's got a camera in their phone and can take pictures of it and put it on
there. There you go. That's exactly it. Chef Eddie with $5. The man was just confused. He got his Chip and Dales mixed up.
You certainly needed a rescue ranger, I'll tell you that. Sometimes some crimes.
Wow.
That was quick. Oh, how does Lou do it? How does Lou do it?
I don't know. It just pops out. What can I say? As that guy probably said to the guard.
Oh, I knew we were going there. Going Shogi with $5. The DCA crowd got more loud than rowdy. When I was in Epcot, it was a different thing I've never seen before. People were puking in bushes at Epcot. Ooh. Yikes.
Yeah. Epcot can get out of hand. I've seen them. How
It's
do I
such a
put it?
shame. It's such a damn shame.
I don't know. Just kind of yell and holler like they're having a good time, but
Well, they
like
think they're on a
you have
cheap
college,
booze cruise for 3 days and 2 nights to the Caribbean someplace.
and
You
you
sure
can
it
tell
wasn't because
some
of
of them are
community core hall?
locals.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not always tourists. I feel like Florida's just a different gig. We
Yeah,
got some
yeah, that's
crazy
true.
people living in Florida. I mean, there's a reason why they call it Florida man, Florida woman, and
Yeah,
that's probably only 1% of the stories that actually get out. If you live there, you'd have more stories than what.
it's a fun place to visit, but I would never live there for a lot of those reasons. So,
Well, you know what? I think we got to get out of the States. I think we got to go to the UK. I think we got to go to the United Kingdom and see what's going on
you
over
mean where they
there.
want to arrest the people throwing popcorn during Minecraft?
That's a fair point. But if you're on your
And
best
throw you in jail
behavior,
if you put a meme up that they think is offensive.
maybe
I would have
If
been
you-
angry.
if you stay off social media, if you mind your P's and Q's, maybe you'll get access to Universal UK. There you go. Universal Studios to open massive UK theme park with Jurassic Park and Shrek attractions. This is by Marvin Montanaro. We're going to be talking about themes as we go along here because a lot of information has been added to this discussion, even as this broke right here. So this was back last Tuesday. And here we go. In a game-changing move for the UK and global tourism as a whole, Universal Studios has officially announced plans to build its first ever European resort in Bedfordshire, England. The ambitious 476-acre development just an hour north of London is scheduled to open up by 2031 and promises to redefine theme park experiences across the continent. This marks a rare moment in theme park history. Universal is stepping into a major market with zero direct Disney competition. While Disney has a stronghold in Paris with Disneyland Paris, it has no presence in the United Kingdom, giving Universal an open runway to capture a massive untapped tourism demographic and with full control of the cinematic IP-based theme park experience.
Do we really know that Fast and Furious is part of this? Because I don't think so. I think they're talking about that big coaster that's really going to be Back to the Future. over there on
Right.
the
So
right.
when Marvin initially wrote this article, he was I believe going with what he was hearing at the time, and now that we kind of know a couple of the trademarks that have been featured, we kind of know a couple of things that may be featured based on the concept art and so forth. People have been able to examine it a little bit more closely. We now get a better understanding of what might actually be featured in this park.
By the way, about this picture, about this concept art, I was watching a Brit guy who has a channel. I forget his name, and it was all right, but it's nothing worth running over to. There you go, Theme Park Wizard. I agree. And he was talking about what he could read into all these various places. For example, there's a lot of speculation that little Kittyland area right there beyond the hotel on the left side is going to be Paddington Bear, which would be a great idea. Basically because, yes, the marmalade jar. But he said when he talked to his friends about it and what he was reading into this picture, his friends in Britain universally, you should pardon the expression, said, "Oh, yeah, but that's just concept art, and that's never how it really turns out." At which point he overlaid this with Epic and with the real Epic as compared to the concept art and said, no, you don't understand. Universal actually makes the real thing like the concept art. What a shocking concept of art and science. Anyway.
Yes. That's the thing about Universal. When they give you the art, it's pretty much what you get. However, I will say, because this is attached to a constantly developing kind of theme park, I think there is some wiggle room for distinct change, especially given rights issues and all kinds of stuff, right? But historically, Universal, what you see is what you get, which is absolutely awesome. And you have to treat it a little bit differently than Disney because of that. And let me see here. There was an article by, I believe, the BBC, which actually went into a little bit of this. Let me go ahead and pull this tweet up first. Discussing film, the rumored lands and attractions coming to Universal Studios UK are Minions, Paddington, Jurassic World, Back to the Future, Lord of the Rings, and a James Bond stunt show. You can see right here, it's sourcing from this BBC article.
Yeah, the part that looks like the Westworld stuff at Hollywood they're saying will be a Bond show instead. So we shall see. That should be fun.
Right. A lot of people have said Bond for this upper portion right here. It looks like Waterworld. Like
It
it
sure
looks
does.
just like it. But from what we can gather, it looks like 007 might be the choice there. Some people have speculated about some of the other stuff that may be a little bit ambiguous, but from what we understand, this looks like very much like Jurassic World.
Yep.
And you can see kind of the tops there. It's very much in that style. And I think Jim Hill from the podcast that he hosts with Len Testa, I think it's the Unofficial Guide podcast, or I can't remember. It's the Touring Plans podcast, basically. Jim Hill has been saying that this show building here is going to be housing the Beijing version of the Jurassic World Dark Ride, which looks absolutely outrageous. If you've ever seen that, it is very, very cool. I'll try to get some video of it up, but that would be awesome to see for this park specifically, and it would definitely get people to visit the UK specifically for that just alone. I think it's really, really cool. You can also see here, if you look, you see some purple tiled roofs there. That looks pretty consistent with the Minions and what we've seen before from the Minions universe, and then how it's been brought to life in the various parks like Universal Studios Florida or Universal Studios Hollywood. So it looks like maybe some illumination stuff here. That might be pretty cool for at least the little ones. Lou had mentioned the marmalade seen in this area with what people believe is going to be Paddington. But I think a lot of people are very excited for this specific portion, which people are saying is Back to the Future. Why are they saying that? Because this right here looks to be a recreation of Courthouse Square at Universal Studios Hollywood. And you know that they actually filmed the original Back to the Future in 1985 in that specific portion of the back lot. Looks like it's been recreated to reestablish Show Valley. And beyond the clock tower, well, you have this coaster that might take you 88 miles per hour to send you back in time. So
It's
that's
like a
pretty cool.
triple launch to me, or at least double.
Yes,
Is it a
and
boomerang?
so there is a Intamin coaster that I can't remember the name of. It starts with a P. Is it Pantheon, I believe?
Yeah,
that has
yeah,
this kind of
so.
spike system that throws you up, and then you kind of fall back. And as you fall back, the track is switched so that you can go throughout the course right there in not too dissimilar fashion that maybe you think of Hagrid's, right?
Or Expedition Everest, for that matter.
Or or
Everest,
Expedition
like
Everest.
that.
People were saying that if you were to have a coaster go to 88 miles per hour, that spike would have to be anywhere between 250 to 300 feet tall, which would be absolutely significant. that would be a big time coaster right there. That's absolutely for sure. Have any of you guys heard of any other rumors or anything like that related to this park? And what do you guys think of all
people
this?
are talking about that part immediately at the end of the main street to the right there, with the little pool and the restaurant, as being some kind of Amity thing for Jaws. But I don't know. I really don't know. It's very clear where the hotel is, and especially where the hotel's convention and meeting facilities are, in that big square building down at the bottom. Golly.
So this is the
There you go. There's the
this-
Beijing.
Attractions 360
wow.
has the Beijing Jurassic World attraction very well recorded. This is just their Twitter snippet right here, but you can see just how incredible this specific ride is. I mean, you're talking big audience.
They are wonderful, by the way, Attractions 360, and they did a very extensive walkthrough on Epic that just went up earlier this week. That's very worth visiting to see.
Yeah. Just super cool, great guys right there, and they do a really good job taking on these theme parks right here. But that gives you an idea of what we're kind of looking at. I've heard Jaws, and I think that's an interesting inclusion. I would think that Universal would want to hone in on the IP they actually own, so they have direct control of it, rather than relying on a bunch of outside IP. Obviously,
The
you
question
have to
becomes, that big square show or theater building, is it connected to that, or is it connected to the tower on the main street? No, the one down there behind to the right on the main street.
Oh,
That one up to the right of that Spanish
I
tower.
see. Okay.
So, it's like, which way does that feed from? Is there a show back there? I don't
Yeah, you
know.
have to wonder where that actually goes. But you can kind of see how the facades.
I mean, obviously that's a restaurant along the lagoon, which is a great idea.
Right, which we've seen at University of Florida. So a lot of people are looking at that and going,
Or
okay,
at
well, that looks
Epcot
like
with the Mexican restaurant that's out there on the lagoon, so.
yeah, yep. A lot of people are looking at that and going, well, are they duplicating a lot of that facade work? Because if they are, that's where Amityville was at. You can also see a hotel very distinctly similar to the Helios, right, that we've seen from Universal's Epic Universe here opening up May 22nd. This kind of connected hotel concept, they definitely want to
Except
use as
that it's more in that kind of old Hollywood Spanish Mission style.
correct.
Just like
Yeah.
most of those facades on the main drag, which are like the Hollywood streets,
Yes, definitely Hollywood streets, and would be something unique to the United Kingdom.
There's been some speculation, by the way, that to the right of the globe there, that is a reincarnation of the chocolate place at City Walk.
Oh, Tucson?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I don't know, but that would be
That's an interesting catch right there for sure. I wouldn't doubt it because Tucson was very successful, at least at University of Florida. Not so much at Hollywood and City Walk, but maybe that prospect might be changing.
And of
let's
course,
see.
there are big, huge expansion areas in between these things that can be who knows what in the years ahead.
Oh yes,
Wow.
oh yes. Apparently, this will provide for 28,000 jobs, as the Prime Minister has said right here. We can see some trademarks being filed. Some of them are for other things, so we got to be careful about which trademarks we're actually seeing. And I know a lot of slews are out there that are trying to get to the heart of.
Well, the
what's
big
been
one
going
was
on.
that they filed a trademark there for Halloween Horror Nights.
Right, I was just
So they're
about
definitely
to
going to
get
do that there, which will be something.
Right.
Universal's Halloween Horror Nights trademark in the UK could hint at spooky future for a new theme park. For this by Marvin Montanaro. Is the fog already rolling into Bedfordshire? Could we really see Halloween Horror Nights come to the UK? While Universal Studios only recently announced its plans to open a massive 476-acre theme park resort in the United Kingdom by 2031, a new discovery has fans buzzing, and it's all about Halloween. This would be absolutely massive. And as Marvin points out here, as it turns out, Universal trademarked the name Halloween Horror Nights in the UK back in 2022, about 2.5 years before the official reveal of Resort. But that is definitely consistent with how long they've been working on this. The move has some wondering, was Universal laying the groundwork for the British
Of course.
invasion much earlier than anyone
Of
realized? Oh, yeah.
course they
Let's go
were.
back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
let's not forget they still own all that property in Spain. So,
yes, yes, they do have some influence there. Some people, Marvin was talking about where you could find other Halloween haunt experiences, but not anywhere near on the level of Halloween Horror Nights. And again, you got the Horror Unleashed there in Vegas coming.
August.
It looks like
opening in August. In Vegas.
opening in August 14th.
And already open right next to it is that John Wick escape room thing, which should be fun too. The Continental
yes.
opens a branch in Vegas. I think that's kind of fun.
That's really
It's
fun
going to be
indeed.
a haunted mansion. It's going to be a like a haunted house experience, is what
Yeah,
they're
so-
doing.
So Halloween Horror Nights is an assemblage of mazes that they set up temporarily that you actually walk through, and within those mazes you have scare actors that kind of try to frighten you,
Oh, okay.
along with scare zones of different actors kind of coming together and trying to scare you there. I think, in fact, actually, let me see if I can actually pull up a video that the Kelly Bay had on one of those scare zones. But it's it's pretty intense. It's not for everybody, and I think they encourage anyone 18 and above to attend because it is pretty intense. But it is a whole lot of fun, and it is really big on both coasts. I mean, absolutely massive here. Let me see if I can get that going here. Let's see. Here we go. I think I have it right here. that gives you an idea of what's going on. This is, I think, right before the ceremonies are taking place. Go ahead.
So they're gonna house a miniature Halloween Horror Nights in Vegas. That's my understanding.
It's a
Oh,
Are they
permanent.
gonna?
it's,
Yeah,
It's
that
gonna be
is
all
a
indoors
It's
in a
4 or
building.
5 different scare zones or houses,
yeah, it's a
Right.
huge
and a
warehouse.
restaurant, and of course a bar.
I'm just trying to
Mhm.
envision it in my head because I'm so used to just seeing this in a theme park.
Well, but it's all
So
indoors in Vegas. It's all in a big warehousey building.
that's a big building. If it's
Yeah.
going to be indoors, to
It is.
have all those concepts in one area, that's kind of wow.
I believe we have the video
cool.
right here. This is the promotional video that they
Huh.
have for Universal Horror Unleashed.
Yeah, that is
Very
terrifying.
similar, yeah, very similar to Halloween Horror Nights that you experience in other places. But apparently,
Yeah,
this is also coming to United Kingdom, which again, that's big business. I think I edited this in order to prevent any real bad stuff from being on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, it's Universal's really getting into it right here, and I am just amazed at the level of investment that they're spending on these park experiences around the world now. We know that Universal Beijing is going to get a ton of money for its expansion there. Hollywood, we've been talking about that in a couple of T3POs in the past with Theme Park Wizard. Excellent reporting right there, talking about how expansive that resort will be maybe in the future. Universal Horror Unleashed, as you're seeing on screen right now, Universal UK, and also don't forget Universal Frisco, or Universal Kids Resort in Frisco, Texas.
And that's not the first.
That's not the first.
I predict 3 more of those somewhere else in the USA or Canada, in the suburbs of maybe
So
Chicago or
funny.
Philadelphia or Portland or somewhere, because
Go ahead,
it's
Erica.
It's
natural.
funny you mentioned that 'cause that's exactly what I've been thinking for a while now. Is that I feel like this is one out of maybe 2 or 3 more that's going to come. That's interesting.
I think
Yeah.
Texas is the trial balloon for more experiences like this, because Texas is positioned, right between Hollywood and Universal Orlando Resort, because it has pretty good all-year weather, and that area has been starving for attractions like this, especially from the Big Two. I think it's a real nice place to test out this concept. If
And
it's
the
really
part
doing
of
well
town they're
there,
putting it in is comparable to, I don't know, the OC. It's McMansion City. I know because my brother has one.
I
You
see.
saw
I
those
see.
pictures. Somebody on his locals thing took some pictures, and it's going fast. It's going really, really fast. And it has a hotel, 300 rooms, I think, or 400 rooms, something like that. So,
Indeed, it's
and it's
going.
all about building an audience for the brand. It's about, you take your kids there. I was shocked, frankly, that there was even a Jurassic component to it, but there is. And I thought that's kind of scary for kids. But if they do it friendly, and then they say, well, you want to see a little bit more grown-up version, we'll go to Hollywood or Orlando or wherever.
Yeah.
It's about building multi-generational interest in the brand and its offerings. Something that used to be kind of second nature at a certain mouse house, but now, I don't know.
Mhm.
Somebody was saying that the roller coaster here might actually be for Jurassic, and that actually might be built for Mac. So, which would make sense because Mac Rides specializes in family coasters. So, it really is something right here. There's a lot developing in this area, and again, that opens 2026. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not too long there.
The blink of an eye.
Bob, of all the
Literally,
different things,
2026.
Yeah.
It's just next year.
right? I know it's
Golly,
crazy.
that's like we're in 2025.
It is absolutely wild. Again, it's a smaller park, so it's less ambitious as maybe like Universal UK, but it's it's pretty decent. Bob, of the experiences, we'll go ahead and take Epic out of it because Epic's just crazy. Of the experiences that are coming, which excites you the most, and which one are you most interested to see perform?
Well, obviously, I love all the news coming out of UK for that theme park. I think that's going to be pretty amazing. I really am looking forward to, the whole, Las Vegas, Universal Monsters, thing. What's it called again? Is it Monsters Unleashed?
Yeah.
Yeah, Horror Unleashed.
Yes, Horror Unleashed. There we go.
Right.
So I think that's going to be really cool. Although the only thing is, it's one permanent set, and yeah, they'll probably change them out from time to time. I am looking forward to it. I'm planning on trying to go if I can this August to check it out. But I think the UK theme park was, the thing that really got me. I like the fact that they're coming out with these little, Universal Kid parks. That's kind of cool, competing with Sesame Street that SeaWorld has, as well as the other lands like Legoland and stuff like that. I think that's going to be really cool. I don't have a young daughter anymore to take her to these fun kid places. Otherwise, I'll probably be a lot more excited about it. But I think it's great that they're building them. What I think the most exciting thing for me, though, is that Universal is taking the time to finally expand and build all these things. And that's what excites me the most. It's not just one of these things. I mean, while I'm most excited about the UK, theme park, I think the fact that Universal, they're investing money, they're looking to what people want, what people, would like to see, and they're trying to build their brand. And, obviously Comcast owns Universal and they're trying to expand out as much as possible. But to me, I'm really excited about the fact that they're just expanding, period. Unlike, Disney, that is kind of just stale and really hasn't done anything.
There is a what if that's worth what ifing here. What if Bob had decided, maybe we don't need Fox, and hadn't put up the money and therefore obligated himself to pay all that money to Universal for Hulu, which is paying for all this.
Mm-hmm.
And we still haven't got the final bill yet, So
I've wondered that too. Like, where would Disney be had he not acquired Fox? Because financially, they'd be in a much healthier place than where they're at now. At least you would think.
They paid their competitors to compete with them.
They
would have a lot more cash flow, but I don't know that it would make a lot of changes, because they've been running the company. At least Bob Iger has been running the company a certain way, and it hasn't changed. So I'm kind of wondering if it really would make a difference. Yes, they would have a little bit more money, but they're taking all the money they're making from the theme parks and they're investing into other things, and that's also hindered the theme parks as well. But they've made a lot of bad choices and decisions, especially with shows on Disney Plus and whatnot. And Disney Plus really has not been, I think, the boom that they thought it was going to be for them. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this, but I think for me is that, Universal is listening to everyone. Disney's not really listening to the public. They're not really listening to what people want to see or do, and they're kind of just doing their own thing. And it's kind of, running amok now at the, House of the Mouse, because they're having trouble with, the theme parks and their movies and whatnot. I mean, look, Marvel's not doing so great right now,
And look,
really unfortunate.
It's not just about the cost of doing it. It's the opportunity cost lost. If you take out the enormous amount of money it costs to set up technologically and otherwise Disney Plus, and just said, well, what if you just licensed those movies to Netflix and Amazon and took the money and ran? Doesn't look like such a great bet, does it?
No, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the gift that keeps on taking, that being Disney Plus, because the amount of money they've spent on content creation alone. I mean, we're probably talking $80 billion at this point. I mean, they spent $33 billion 2 years in a row on content, not just for Disney Plus, mind you, but for the studio division.
And then started playing all those accounting games and moving things into and out of the Disney Plus budget as opposed to the standalone feature budget. And
but that was 2 years right there, and we know that Disney Plus has been around since 2019. Moreover, compared to how much Netflix spends on content and the returns they actually see from it, it's not even close. So it's one of these things where it's like, yeah, like if they wouldn't have purchased Fox, they wouldn't have $40+ billion of outstanding debt with interest payments that they still have to make. They haven't paid off that debt, by the way. It's still there. They have to pay interest on that. And then if they didn't do that, then they wouldn't maybe have gone so hard into Disney Plus, spending the amount of money that they are spending to make that happen. And so that's really truncated or limited how much they can actually allocate in terms of capital expenditures towards the theme parks. And it's really, really sad to see. But Universal understands their weakened position and is putting the pedal to the metal in a big, big way. I think this is really exciting for theme park fans. What's not so exciting for theme park fans, however, is what's going on across the way in Europe. So we know what Universal is doing in the United Kingdom. Well, Disney just announced for the 33rd anniversary of their resort in Disneyland Paris on April 12th, that was, what they're actually doing to enhance that resort. And they provided a few more details on the things we've heard before, but also provided a new attraction. And that attraction, the big stunner, the big thing that's going to get people to Disneyland Paris, hopefully, is a off-the-shelf flat ride in the form of Silly Symphony Swings. Oh, wait, it's up themed. I'm so sorry. Bob, go ahead, please.
Okay, so here's the thing. The swings is always a fun ride, right? But this is a carnival ride. This is not a, like they kept it at DCA only because the Orange Stinger, wasn't a big hit. So they turned it into Silly Symphonies and it's fine. They've got a Fiesta Village at Knott's Berry Farm. Okay, it's a fun because it's just a lot of, little rides around that, area of Knott's Berry Farm. I'm fine with it. But to see this is kind of like, really, Disney? Do you need to bring in a swing for the upride? I would rather see a better attraction built around the up.
Bob, I bow to your expertise. But isn't the area at Knott's originally called Knott's Old Time Adventures? This thing is, it's like. First of all, how many, Erica, I don't know, but I bet you there are half a dozen at least rides exactly like this at the various parks in Germany and elsewhere in Europe.
Yeah,
And the second question we talked about when we brought this up earlier, last night, I guess it was, the weather. They should have themed it to Frozen because that's what anybody will be for about 6 months out of the year in Paris swinging around on that thing.
That's a fair point. We're going to talk about weather in a second. Go ahead, Erica.
Can you do me a favor, Vash? Can you just Google on Google Images Fantasialand? I want to point something out.
All right. Let me go ahead and bring that up in the background.
The second I look at this, my mind immediately goes to the center square of Fantasialand.
There you go.
Center square. Okay, there
you go. Over on the left, there's a tilt.
There you go, right there.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now that's one angle of it, and it looks
and then
very
down below,
carnival,
yes.
But okay, yeah, the images down below are more okay. Yeah, you see the buildings in the background; they have that European look, and in the middle of this little European type center,
which has nothing to do with moving up.
You have the, I keep wanting to call it a carousel, but it's not a carousel. The swing ride. This is exactly. It's like somebody took a field trip to Fantasialand, went back to the C-suite and said, "Hey, I have this great idea." But it's not really an original idea.
And the architecture surrounding it has nothing to do with that. They couldn't build the house and the balloons and something, I mean, geez.
Bob's killing me. They went on a field trip. They went on the research trip.
They went on a field trip to find out that although there are musicians in New Orleans, and you'd have no trouble finding some for your Tiana ride, there are probably fewer Dixieland musicians in Germany. So, there's that.
Here's the thing about all this, right? Because it's like, okay, well, yeah, they could have easily ripped off Fantasialand, but they didn't even have to go out of the country.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm
original.
Well, here's the thing. They did this concept 20 years ago, 24 years ago now, with Disney California Adventure. Now, this is Silly Symphony Swings. This was the 2012 redo of this attraction right here. But even before then, this was the Orange Stinger. which inside of the Orange Stinger, you had a swing-based attraction that they then peeled away the orange and revealed
Peel. Exactly.
Right.
the swing ride right inside of it. And so this is a concept that is 15 years old at this point in Disney California Adventure, and now we're bringing that to Disney Adventure World.
Look at the buildings. Go back to the previous shot.
Exactly.
Yeah. This one?
Look at those pavilions on the left and behind it, and now go to the other one and see if you see something similar. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
3 columns, an arch.
I guess what gets me is like I would expect more from Disney than just a quick, simple, swing ride. Look, I love Silly Symphony swings. I love the Orange Stinger. In fact, I liked it better than Silly Symphony swings. But because you were actually inside this orange sphere.
It actually said California.
Yeah, I know. It
True.
Unlike the stripped down version.
More Disneyized, but to me, this is not a ticket attraction that I'm taking my family to. It's like, why would I go there to experience that? If I went there, that's one of the rides I'd say, oh, I don't need to go on that. I'm going to go on other.
It's
rides.
not a reason to attend the park in the first place, which every new attraction at a Disney park used to be.
Right.
No, I will say,
Right. So,
Disney's sense here.
sorry.
In,
What was that?
just speaking as someone that lives in Europe, now this type of attraction, even in their festivals, like their carnivals and theme parks, it is a popular thing for Europeans. So culturally, I think maybe that was the angle. They're trying to be culturally relevant since this is going to be an expansion to.
But Erica, the flip side of that is, would people in Europe who are used to going to these at traveling fairs and certainly other theme parks say, well, until they have one of those at Disney Paris, I'm not going? It's not a deal breaker ride on the other side. You see what I'm saying? It's just, God, it's more of the same.
Well, High Ping says in the chat, where's the Astro Orbiter? I would rather see the Astro Orbiter than this ride. I mean, anything but a swing ride would be great. I don't know. I'm just really disappointed in this. It's like, that is not what I would want to see put into a theme park like Disney. And again, not that they can't, because we have it at DCA, but my whole thing is, hey, it's our brand new attraction. No, I'd rather have Dumbo. There you go. I'd rather have Dumbo or Astro Orbiter than the swings. And the Astro Orbiter, I love this. I go on it all the time.
I think I have Dumbo here as well, but I mean,
well, of course, the other thing about Astro Orbiter and about this, I think Dumbo too, you have a minimal amount of control. You can make it go up and down, right?
Yep.
On the swing, you get flung wherever you get flung, and that's the way it is, right?
Well, yeah, but
so there isn't even that amount of interactivity and
I think Disney went, hey, what's something cool and cheap that we can put in real quick, and it's a new attraction. It's like they're trying their best not to spend money to give someone, like, it's like and I hate to say this, but like when they add things like and not to rip Knott's, but Knott's Berry Farm that has tendency of doing this from time to time. They have the Pony Express. It's a cool little roller coaster. It's like less than 50 seconds long, and it's almost like, really, you couldn't make it like an extra 1,000 feet long to have some fun. It's like, oh, well, we spent money and we built a new coaster. Come check out our park. Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not a reason to go back all by itself, and that's what every new attraction should be.
Right.
Because, all right, there's two kinds of audiences. There's your established audience who've been and liked it or not or whatever, and there's drawing new people. Do you think any human being in London is going to say, well, rather than jump on a train and spend the day in Bedford, I'm going to get on a boat and go over here and spend the night with all those damn frogs and go on this thing in 30-degree weather? Sorry, ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Yeah, it's really tough.
And then, Vash, we get to the big splash of
the Lion King,
or as we call it, Frozen animal style.
That's right. The water ride, their version of Splash Mountain, but it's going to be Lion King.
Right. So let me go ahead and set this up the best way
Actually,
I
looks pretty
possibly
cool. If
can.
I'm being honest, at least the concept art looks pretty cool. If
it
they
does
can
look
Yeah, it
actually
pretty-
looks
build it
great.
and
But
work.
in Paris, God,
That's
it's cold
that-
there most of the year. For God's
That's
sake.
going to be the issue. But before we get to the weather, we got to get to what was previously going to go into space, which was not the Lion King, which you see right here. It was previously Star Wars. Yes, all the way back to 2018. They announced 3 lands that was coming to Walt Disney Studios Paris, now Disney Adventure World. At the time, it was Frozen, Marvel's Avengers Campus, and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Frozen being a duplicate of what you experience at Hong Kong, Avengers Campus, like you saw at DCA, and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Now, what's going to be the whole thing? It was going to be a truncated version of it that was going to be much smaller, but and only had Rise of Resistance, which the reason being Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, while also very expensive, it was also something where there was like a language barrier in which that was kind of a collaborative experience, and that's kind of difficult to do if you get paired up with another couple or another family that doesn't speak your exact language. So that's kind of why that one was omitted the way it was. But even that, though, was canned in, 2022. The word got around, especially when I think a news reporter asked the president of Disneyland Paris at the time, what's going on with the third land? It's not featured anywhere in new materials and new concept art and so forth. And it was like, oh, we're going to announce the third theme at a later date. And it was like, oh, Star Wars is now officially off the table. And now we're replacing that with The Lion King. Now, this
Or
was the
as we
concept
like
art.
to call it, Frozen with lions.
Yeah, Frozen with lions because of the temperature, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Here, Lion King, this was the concept artwork that they originally released at D23, I believe 2024, the Ultimate Fan event, for this specific attraction. You can see the live action version of the characters featured. Thankfully, they said at D23 they weren't going with the live action version, they were going with the animated version. However, they hadn't updated the artwork to reflect that. So this was in the works for a while, and now they're just copying homework and bringing it to Disneyland Paris. This was the new concept art that they released for the 33rd anniversary of Disneyland Paris back in April 12th there. And you can see that it's taken on a little bit different tone and tenure with animated characters. You can see an animated Simba up there, I'm guessing. And also 3-person logs as opposed to the single file logs of this version right here. So definitely has changed. And to reemphasize that point, this is the dark ride portion featured within. As you can see, animated characters right there. And it looks like to be maybe a book report attraction, which is very ironic. Anyway, okay. So we're not getting Star Wars, your $4 billion franchise that apparently is like the best thing ever. We're getting the 1994 version of The Lion King, which is what, a 31-year-old franchise at this point. Okay. And we're doing a water ride around it. That's really interesting because this also follows their original plans to do a Splash Mountain in Disneyland Paris way back in the 1990s. They eventually didn't do it because of 1, cost, but 2, it's really, really cold in Paris. It's the average temperature around. Go ahead.
I put in the side there, you can bring it up. It's a comparison chart between Paris and Tokyo. It's hotter in Tokyo than it is in Paris, for God's sakes, and they've got a frozen land. Also, this thing, it's so reeks of Tiana, the way those little scenes seem to be along the empty rivers of foliage. There you go. Okay. The blue, as in blue, is Paris versus Tokyo. So even in the cold months, they're 10 degrees warmer. So anyway, and and they make a point about how Splash Mountain over there, they make splashier in the summertime than they do in the winter. So
They can
and go
control
back to
the
the other shot
splash,
because
maybe.
I mentioned this yesterday. I said, that looks like Mama Odie's bottles, only with an African style to them, hanging from the trees on either side.
Yeah, I was just seeing that too. I was
Yeah.
going to say the same thing. It's got the same dangly jewels that Tiana's has.
Oh man, it's
Ooh, where was that from? That was Paris, the frozen shot of the.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
frozen Mickey right there in front of the
Yeah.
Disneyland Hotel,
Yeah.
which happens on the regular. We actually, one of our videos that we did on this channel actually was covering the snow that had fallen in Disneyland Paris.
I remember that. You know what happened?
Yeah.
I remember with this stream because I was like, wait a second, is that happening right now? And you said, yep, this is live. And after the stream, I looked at Raph and I said, we're in for it tomorrow. He's like, why? I'm like, it's snowing in Paris. And I mean, it is coming down. And sure enough, the next day, we got hit with that snow.
That goes back to
man, did
D-Day,
we get a
doesn't it?
snowfall.
When Ike was sitting there saying, can we do it or not? And the meteorologist came to him and said, well, there's going to be about a 3-day break in the weather because there's this system coming through from the Atlantic. And the Germans have no way of knowing it's coming. So they're all going to be certain we're not going to do it because of the bad weather. And that was the key to the decision to go. So
Now here at Fantasialand, they will shut down Chia Pass, which is a waterlog like flume ride, and they close it down during the cold months.
sure, which makes sense because people don't want to get wet. And
There you go. I think this
I
is
mean,
what you
but
saw,
you're-
right?
Yeah, that was terrible. I was so mad. It's like I hate shoveling snow. I hate snow. Nope. I can't wait to move to a warm climate again.
The average. Oh, go ahead, please, Bob.
Go ahead about the average.
The average temperature for Paris in the months of February, I believe March and April, is right around the low 50s. And I believe that follows the same trajectory if you look at the fall as well. So
that's the high in the middle of the day.
right. So if we're talking about a water ride in Disney Adventure World like this is only going to be used for maybe 4 months out of the year. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if it's the best cost resources, but go ahead, Bob.
Yeah.
So two things. One, I was there 2 years ago in April, and actually it was really nice during the day.
April
It wasn't too cold at all,
Paris.
but yeah, at nighttime it definitely got really cold. But I didn't have a bad experience during the day, and I was there for 2 days, and actually it was pretty good.
That's fantastic.
But it kind of makes you wonder, right? Hey, we've got this brand new ride and attraction coming to you guys. We are building more stuff at Disneyland Paris. Oh, but it's going to be closed for most of the year. Kind of like so it kind of makes you wonder. Hey, we invested in this park and we invested more money, and you got a new attraction, but we're only going to open it so often, so we don't have to run it that often. There's
a classic IT joke about 3 women talking about their husband's professions and how it affects their performance, if you will. And then one woman says, well, my husband is a long distance runner. He's slow, but man, he's there all night long. And the second one says, well, mine's a sprinter and he's fast, but he's intense. And the third one says, well, mine works for Microsoft and he spends all night telling me how great it's going to be someday when I get it. So that kind of applies here. Disney touting all this stuff, but let's not forget that Disney was originally absolutely committed to building their European park in Spain, and the French basically bribed them with a lot of goodies to get them to move it to Paris.
Well,
and
bribed
the major reason being the weather. So,
Yeah.
Well, and
'Cause
also
isn't-
makes you wonder too, right? I mean, if you look at this ride and attraction and everything that we've seen, even the model that I saw at D23, it looked like a lot of it is indoors and not so much outdoors.
yeah, it looks like inside Tiana's or Splash Mountain.
Yeah, it does, like you said. But I don't, especially with the new concept art, you only see this one drop. You don't see it hanging outside like in previous, pictures or concepts. So it makes me wonder if this is the only part that you're going to see that actually comes outside. And the rest is going to be just indoors. So
You can
could see
see
it
a little bit of that
working.
model right there. I don't know. I can see where their head's at. They want to provide something that's very distinct, right, to this part of to this resort.
Well,
and
they want another weenie on the skyline is what they want, and that it certainly does.
Sure. And I'm glad that they're investing in this park because I think they're going to have to, especially given Universal UK coming up here in 2031. But I just think it's a very weird investment because it's like, wow, you're thinking it's the Lion King, not Star Wars, and you're doing it in such a way that I don't think that's going to necessarily get much use for an all-year park. But
And I looked up
Maybe I'm wrong.
when we were discussing this last night, the box office of the Lion King movie, or movies, I should say, in France, and was it that spectacularly well received there? It did well, but not as well as it did in either the UK or Germany. So, I know they consider their audience to be all of Europe, but still, it's been a long time since Simba was Simba-ing. So
it has been a long time right there. Let me go ahead and get to some super chats because I kept the people waiting, and I hate doing that too much. So I guess when these started coming in, we were talking about the hijinks that was going on at Disney parks here. The Wildman, if you have a personal favorite, Florida man by himself while stuffing a crossbow into his pants, it went off with an additional $2. He was he clarified that point right there. Yeah, that's not good. You don't want that to go off in your pants right there. That's a bad day. That's going to ruin your
is
weekend.
that a crossbow in your pants, or are you just glad to see me?
I
Mae
knew
West
it.
would have said.
I knew it, Lou. Here we go. Mr. Blue Sky with $4.99. Thank you so much. Well, man, you haven't included right there. Just jumping in here. Did you see Disney just pulled 6 permits for Cars and Magic Kingdom? Oh, yes, we did. And that's what we're going to cover next here. So stick around. We've got a lot of commentary on that project. Mr. Blue Sky with another $4.99. Halloween Horror Unleashed, or Universal Horror Unleashed, is at Area 15, which has many very cool walkthrough attractions and experiences, like the John Wick exhibit right there. Very, very cool. Mr. Blue Sky with another $4.99 prediction. Only way this stops is that they tank the stock enough for a hostile takeover and someone comes in and fires everyone. Yeah, you would think.
Mr. Blue Sky.
We can keep wishing, I guess.
It's
keep dreaming.
It's a problem.
Waiting
and the
on a
problem
wish.
is you could fire the bosses, certainly. But when you get down to the rank and file that were brought in under this regime with this expectation of wokeness and all the rest of it being welcome, why are you firing them? As the saying goes, they were just following orders. And they're gonna countersue you for firing them for just doing what they were told to do. It's going to be messy and bloody, and that is why the idea of Apple or Elon Musk or somebody riding in on a white horse and just making everything right. I think acknowledging that and saying I'm not a young man and there's only so much time left in my experience. It would have been fun to fix Disney, but I'm done with that now for the prior suitors. Peltz and for Ike. They just don't need this aggravation.
I like running buddy right here, and I do agree with you, Lou. I think there's going to be big time problems with trying to get everybody out. There's a lot more restrictions than people believe. Personally, I'd like a Lion King attraction should have been in Animal Kingdom. I don't disagree with you. I think a Lion King attraction would have fit in perfectly. And hopefully, maybe they look at this and go, hey, let's go ahead and copy the homework and put it in Animal Kingdom. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. And if it was going in Animal Kingdom, I don't think there would be much objection from anybody. Unfortunately, it's going into, a place that has weather like this.
So would the animatronics work?
That's a good point.
I'll tell you something else that just occurred to me, Vash, about firing everybody because of what they did with politics.
Mm-hmm.
Can we say the Unruh Act strikes again?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. If Gina can use it, so can all these people if they get kicked out.
It's double-edged sword, isn't it?
Just occurred to me, it's just like live by the political hire and fire, die by the political hire and fire.
Look, here's what I would do, Lou. I would just be like, okay, look at Communicore Hall. I want everybody to come in Communicore Hall. This was your last big project in Epcot. Everybody who worked on it, you know where the door is. Okay, let's go to the next one. And just start doing it that way. Because if you're paid by performance, well, clearly you're not up to the task if you created those attractions.
Well, I wanted to do something great. They wouldn't let me, Vash. How dare you blame me?
Well, and then you got the one girl. It's the antithesis of that'd be really funny.
There you go.
Well.
The antithesis.
It's
As my
Florentine.
old antithesis used to say.
It's Florentine with the $2. best international equals travel. Avoiding domestic best is worse. Well,
I'd rather drive.
Having
I think maybe referring to the international parks, which I do have to agree that I think there are some really interesting things happening in the international parks, especially Tokyo. I mean, Tokyo is just amazing that maybe the domestic parks are missing out on. So they're,
I think it's funny how everybody always says, but Disney doesn't own Tokyo, and they don't mention it often enough about the Chinese parks. And why are there two? And because I was telling you guys, those wonderful guys at Review Time, the Australian guys who do wonderful reviews of parks and rides, did a whole video just recently about Hong Kong. And what they said is the greatest thing about it is it's A, closest to the original Disneyland experience, but B, there's nobody there. There's no lines. And I'm going, oh, well, that wasn't the plan, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and
I think Bob Iger,
economy tanking and everything else we know about. So.
By the way, Bob Iger, he was the one behind the Hong Kong Disneyland project, because I believe he was the one that was kind of in charge of the essentially the deal making between the Chinese Communist Party and Disney at that time. So,
and now they're telling you we don't want your movies.
Whoops! Got in bed with the wrong people, Iger. Oh, there you go.
You gotta wonder if they'd have built a park in India and kept all those connections to the Indian cable channels. Should it make?
India was on the table for a long time there. Is it now? Not sure. But what is on the table is the rivers of the far west. So apparently, as part of this 33 anniversary presentation of Disneyland Paris, they went ahead and announced that they were going to be enhancing, via several methods, their version of Rivers of America in the Disneyland Paris park. You can see this right here. People were wondering, wait a minute, you're going to be talking about Buffalo? Yes. Yes, we are going to be talking about Buffalo, because if you look at these concept images, you can see Buffalo being featured. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, that's kind of like the Buffalo that Mark Davis wanted for the Western River Expedition project, but unfortunately never got. Fortunately, there were buffalo featured in Disney World. It just wasn't in Magic Kingdom. It was featured actually Epcot's The Land Pavilion with Living with the Land. So there you go. And there's a couple of concept images that look very similar to art that Mark Davis originally cooked up for Disneyland and a few other places. So that's great. I think this is fantastic. I think this is wonderful. I think this is very, very good, because Disneyland Paris's Rivers of America, or River of the Far West, is pretty awesome in its layout and so forth. It's pretty well done. I love the concept of like a big thunder being like the island itself, and then you board on one side and it takes you into the tunnel. It's super cool. It's awesome.
So much fun.
Also makes you wonder if the French ride that and ironically think, but we owned all of that, and then that idiot sold it to America in the Louisiana Purchase. Those rivers.
Now, Bob, you rode this. What were your experiences, and how could you walk us through how the land is very holistic in that it, one thing drives another story?
Yeah. So what's really cool is when you go to Frontierland in Disneyland Paris, it actually sets you up so that you feel pretty immersed into the land, because you show up and you're like, oh, here's Big Thunder. And I'm like, wait a minute, where's the track? It's on the island? Are you kidding? Wait, it's got the Rivers of America around it, and you get to go on, the Mark Twain. I mean, you just start going, wow, this is pretty neat. And I thought it was amazing being able to see, the Mark Twain going by the roller coaster. And then on top of that, you walk along and you've got shops and, different, kiosks that are all tied into what's that? Next to the Haunted Mansion. Yes, it's next to the Haunted Mansion. It's awesome. So it's like everything's just tied in the Haunted. Well, it's Phantom Manor there, but the Haunted Mansion. But
and it's Vincent Price, right, doing the narration.
Well, when I went there, unfortunately, they had taken it away, and it was the guy. What was his name? He was a German actor.
I can't remember, but Vincent Price does play the
Inglourious Basterds and
Phantom.
everything. So he did the narration, and then after I left, they brought it back. I'm like, darn it. So, but the thing is that you're literally walking around Rivers of America and experiencing a whole different Frontierland that is just fun, immersive. I mean, I got to be honest with you. When I got on Big Thunder Mountain, I will tell you the track, after 30 years, this track needs to be redone. But because it was a little rough. But you literally go down underground underneath the river. You come up on a lift. You end up riding around the whole entire island, which is so much fun, including the fact that the train goes down and kind of splashes in the water of Rivers of America. And then when it's done, you race down underground super fast and coming back up to the island. I mean, it was like an exhilarating way to end the ride. But my whole thing was that it was the most immersive land for me there because it had the Rivers of America, it had Big Thunder Mountain, it had the Western, frontier vibe. Yeah, this is where it dips down to the river right there. And then you have Phantom Manor that all ties together. They're so cohesive the way they tied together. It's just so amazing. And I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. And to be honest with you, Phantom Manor, I actually like it better than I know I'm being bad here, but the original Haunted Mansion is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but Phantom Manor just takes it a whole nother level. The way they explain,
oh yeah,
what happens with the bride and why her husbands are dying, and then on top of that, you have a whole new storyline. And when you go to the graveyard, you don't just go into the graveyard; you go under the graves and see the spirits and the dead bodies and everything. It's just so well done. So,
and you have to remember what a fascination the Old West had with people in Europe, in particular Germany, even more than France, because of the novels of a guy named Karl May, M-A-Y, Old Shatterhand. And it was a big deal. It was the moon for people in those eras. So that's been carried through wonderfully.
It actually surprised the Imagineers to a great degree because they were thinking, well, is the European audience really going to embrace a kind of a Western story like this? But they did. They did in a really big way, which was really, really cool to see. And the Haunted Mansion, the Phantom Manor does overlook Big Thunder because it's like that was the Phantoms, or going to the storyline, that was the father of the bride, let's say, and his mine that had made him rich and really infused the town with gold. And now that the mine is cursed, it's caused all these kind of calamitous problems, and Frontierland's kind of fallen a little bit into decay, especially Phantom Manor. And you get to see that story unfold. It's super cool. It's awesome. It's great. I love all this.
I really enjoyed
Here's the problem. Go ahead.
What's that?
Well, go ahead, Bob. Your
what I
final
thought was
commentary.
neat too is the line cue for the Phantom Manor and how you could see Big Thunder. I mean, it was always it was so much fun to watch. And then whenever Mark Twain would come by, I'm like, oh, there's Mark Twain. And unfortunately, I never got a chance to go on it that day, but the 2 days I was there. But it was just so immersive that I was just like, wow, I love this land. I wish our Frontierland was a little bit more like that, because don't get me wrong, our Frontierland is amazing. It's a lot of history behind it and whatnot, and I talk about that all the time on my live streams. But the way they made this so cohesive, because they were able to build it, from scratch, and they had planned it all out. And that's the thing, they planned it all out. It was really well done. And again, not that Disneyland doesn't have a good one. It's just that I really like what they did, and I like the changes they made, because this is a Western, manor, and not like a mansion in Mississippi, so it was really neat. And again, I love Disneyland, don't get me wrong. I just think that they did a great job over in Paris.
By the way,
I think Adam's Family vibes.
Yes.
When you look at Phantom Manor.
Yeah.
I don't get Disney vibes. Every time I look at it, I'm like, it just reminds me of the Addams Family.
You see this right
What
here.
is that
or
thing?
Psycho.
Psycho. There was a lot of influence.
Or if you look in your back channel, you'll find a still that I'd love you to put up, Vash. I mentioned, somebody asked me what are other good movie books about making movies, and I mentioned one I read recently about the movie Giant, which you all may know of, with Rock Hudson and Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean. Well, they built a house in Texas, just the exterior, that this is so similar to. And I put up the picture there. You can take a look at it, Vash.
Yep. I've got it up on screen right
you
now.
go.
You
Doesn't
can
that
see how
have the same vibe?
very close it
When
is.
was it built?
And
Huh? That's a set
When
for the
was
movie.
it built? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a set. Sorry, I
That's
totally watched.
out there in the middle of nowhere, outside of what is it, Marfa, Texas, as the home of Rock Hudson, the guy in the character he plays in Giant.
it's
Riata.
super. The way the Imagineers laid this all out and were inspired by works like, I'm sure they were inspired by John House. They were inspired by all kinds of works and wanted to infuse this into Disneyland Paris, but also provide like the best idealized version of Disneyland, because this was really built by Disneyland fans for Disneyland fans, is truly remarkable and it's awesome. I hope even more stuff like what we see in Paris. Like I'd love for a roller coaster to replace Tom Sawyer's Island, if only to better utilize that space and to prevent it from going away, like we have over there in Walt Disney World. That's why I'm bringing this story up at all, because
Paradise and put up a dirt bar.
Exactly, they are in one glove, 4-fingered glove. They are getting they are enhancing a Rivers of America, and on the other glove, they are getting rid of a Rivers of America in the form of Magic Kingdom. And everybody was shocked and appalled that they would come forward with an announcement like this, knowing that Magic Kingdom's Rivers of America was on the chopping block. And it is super sad to see the company double down on this idea. And actually, we just got word. And thank you, Mom, and everybody who has been informing me. Hey, did you see the announcement? Did you see the announcement? We actually did. So as I was putting together the video for that Park Place this afternoon, actually based on the live stream that we did very, very early today, this dropped. Imagineering prepares construction trailer compound for upcoming Frontierland expansion project at Magic Kingdom. A number of permits have been filed today, signaling early work for what appears to be a construction trailer compound for the upcoming Cars-themed expansion to Frontierland. As you may recall, Walt Disney World received the regulatory green light for the draining and demolition of Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer's Island back in February. And the recently filed permits suggest imminent movement on the project, and here's what we know. But I guess it was a series of 6 permits filed for the Cars area construction trailers at Magic Kingdom. And this is not too dissimilar to, I believe, if I can find it real fast, what Animal Kingdom just went through with its construction trailers. Let me see right here if I can bring this up at all. Braden had, I think, a really good video demonstrating what these construction trailers were actually for. Let me see here if I can bring this up. You are basically establishing a construction umbilicus in which you can move materials through, and also to where you have a place for a home base and a laydown yard. So here you go. This is what Braden did, Mickey Views that is, to kind of show what a trailer compound looks like for a big project. In this case, it's Animal Kingdom, but apparently a very similar set of permits have been filed for the destruction of the Rivers of America out there in Magic Kingdom. So if anybody thought this wasn't going through, think again.
I thought the tariffs were going to be a threat to it, according to Big Bob.
Yeah.
One could have only hoped.
This guy
that was
doesn't know
the
how to
case.
take a good excuse and a way out when it's offered to him on a silver platter.
Silver platter. I know. It's like this is it. Like, just take the money and run. But apparently they just can't help themselves. And I think they view the Rivers of America project as the thing that unlocks so much more expansion for Magic Kingdom. And again, that's at this point the most attended theme park in the world. And when you have to compete with Epic Universe across the way, well, on paper, it might make sense. But experientially for the guest, it does not. To lose this B-roll provided by Marvin Montanero himself, actually.
These are
just
the
really
kind
sad.
of people. I was reading now a lot of the pixie dusters are saying, oh, but wait a minute, we have something to worry about Epic Universe now that we've seen it. And one of them, or actually several of them, were saying, well, there's so much wide open spaces in that Celestial Park thing. I mean, what is that? That's like an intermission between the other lands. And is that a good idea? And I'm going, damn right it's a good idea. It's what makes a park, you morons. But, you know.
Yeah, it's just so sad to see them remove stuff like this. And we just saw how beautiful a Rivers of America can be with the River of the Far West over there in Disneyland Paris. It's like there are ways to make these concepts work. There are ways to bring these things to life and to enhance and this amazing park that is Magic Kingdom and really thread all these interwoven stories together. But
one of the former very well-known Imagineers had drawn like an alternative
Eddie Soto, yeah.
to how was the last name Scholl or was it this guy?
Soto, S-O-T-O, I think.
Mark
Yeah,
Davis.
it was
C-T-O, I don't remember.
Eddie Soto and also Jim Shull had both provided concepts and ideas of
Shull,
how to actually save the Rivers of America.
That's the one I was
And
thinking of was Jim Scholl.
let me see here.
And he
I
really
believe
sketched like what they could do to preserve Rivers of America, but still build the Cars attraction if they really wanted it.
Yeah.
And
There were concepts that were drawn up by former Imagineers, one being Eddie Soto, and I believe Jim Shull had his own project, his own concept that was drawn up on how to save the Rivers of America, and it's well within their grasp. It's just, do they have the courage to pursue it? I don't think so.
No, because they're too busy trying to make their point, like and they think we're stupid.
Yes.
It's almost as if they're saying
intelligence.
all of you people who have fond memories and think this stuff is sacred, well, nothing's sacred, so there.
Yes.
That's a way to win friends, influence people, and charge more money for something for less. Boy.
It's so true.
Not just that these people, the current generation, are not accomplished Imagineers. It's that the business people guiding these decisions are not accomplished business people. I mean, but we've
Yes.
said,
Well, going back
There
to
you
the
go.
Pixie Dusters, just wait for it because once
There it
Epic
is.
Universe opens, they're going to be complaining about crowds and
yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we're going to
Yeah,
be talking
that
about
was
crowds in
one
just a
concept.
second.
See, every time I see this photo, though, it reminds me of what a great, Imagineer Eddie Soto was, and he's a great concept guy anyhow. So he showed, hey, we can still keep Birds of America. Here's what we can do. Boom. I mean, but here's the problem. No one at the company wants to listen to what people want, unfortunately, and that's what Universal is doing. They're listening to the public. They're listening to the people. Hey, we don't want any more screen rides. We want this. Okay, great, no problem. We're going to build this. Disney, on the other hand, is like, well, we're going to do what we want to do. 21,000 people signed the petition for to get rid of Splash Mountain and turn it into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Hey, it sounds like a great idea. 3 million people signed the petition. Nah, we're not going to listen to them. That's okay. It's almost like they want to do what they want to do, and they don't care about what the public wants or what they think that they could do to like Eddie here. He said, hey, we can keep Cars, we can keep Rivers of America, we can even keep the canoes, we can do this, we can keep Villains Land. How about reimagining it to this? If they had said, hey, we're going to reimagine this area and this is what it's going to be so we can fit in Cars, I think the public would have been A-okay with everything. But the fact that they're just going, nope, we're just going to completely get rid of, the Rivers of America, and we're going to do it our way, I think it's turned a lot of people off.
Well, and let's compare. I am second to nobody in my respect for Joe Rohde, but look at Pandora, where you have this kind of up a lazy river lighting effect boat ride that ends with this amazing, when it's working, animatronic of that Navi shaman or whatever with all the fluidity of motion. Wow, we have one. Universal says, yeah, well, we've got 12 at Frankenstein.
Yeah, just that
At least as
Frankenstein.
good, if not better, and Harry Potter and everything else. It's like, why just one? if nothing else, it's going to break once in a while. If there's only one, you're out of luck. But
So,
philosophy.
yeah, I mean, Disney has gotten. I thought they had gotten a little better when it came to when attractions go down and having like a B mode and so forth in order so you can have something. Apparently, though, that was completely lost in the team behind Jonas' Bite Adventure. Braden here may have an answer as to why this is actually happening at Magic Kingdom as opposed to Disneyland Paris. Says this: Jeff Valley, the president of Walt Disney World, has opted against preserving any aspect of the Rivers of America. Disneyland Paris is not under his purview and therefore exempt from his cost mitigation strategies.
How ungreen was my valley?
Yeah, exactly. Jeff Valley, from what I recall from previous discussions, he has been behind a lot of these very unpopular decisions for Walt Disney World, and I think the reason why he's been given the green light in order to do some of these things is because Walt Disney World historically has been such a cash cow for the company. It's like, okay, just keep the cash flowing, and instead of expanding these parks, instead of providing more capacity, it's like keep the capacity the same, charge more for Lightning Lane, and do all the things that you're not supposed to do. And I think that's gotten them into trouble especially with Epic Universe on the horizon right here. I think they've gotten lazy and complacent, and now we have some really bad stuff happening here. I want to go ahead and pull in another panelist. Finally, Nolan Thunder, what is going on, good sir?
Hello, friends. How is everybody doing?
We are doing.
You're late. You're fired.
Fired?
Yeah, where you been?
Oh, crap. All right. I did. Bye.
Well, sorry, Nolan. Do apologize. Anyway, no. Come on back in here. Come on back. We need you to talk about Epic Universe because Epic Universe, as I just was mentioning here, is going to be up, and now we're seeing a couple of things. Not just amazing videos showing this incredible park and how amazing it is, like this one, for example. Right? Oh, it is. It looks.
Wait.
Fantastic.
You mean it's a good thing to put a beautiful fountain in the middle of a park instead of taking one out?
Isn't that crazy? It's absolutely insane. Bob, what's going on here? What did the fountains do to you?
Well, here's the thing. Sure. I love the fountains in Bellagio, and I know this is kind of like, a take on it. But to me, when you see water, and it's like World of Color. World of Color is amazing at DCA. I enjoy it. I love it. I think it's great. I don't care for the World of Color 1, concept, although that's going away, thank goodness. But the thing is, you've got a lot of things here. You've got a water show. You got a light show. You have, atmosphere that is just pulling you into the environment. It's something cool, something fun. And then when you're not doing the show, you can still do some things to make people entertained. And it's got lights that go with it. I mean, it's around this beautiful hotel and the Celestial Park. I mean, all these things just make me go,
look at that meteor sign. Look at that meteor sign.
Too.
It didn't have to be animated that way, but somebody said, well, let's add some more motion. We can always add more. That's a good thing.
But the thing is it's drawing people in. And it's fun and immersive, and that's what I love. And I wish that more parks would do this. Now Disney's doing this for they do it for Fantasmic, they do it for World of Color and stuff. But I think that they're really trying to build on it. The problem is you have places like Epcot who have the circles on the ground that are falling apart and they can't even keep them lit properly. That's the problem I have. But when you have immersive areas like this that do work, then it's amazing for all the theme parks. I'm glad to do this.
I had a photo of here we go. I think this is it. You see right here, this is what Bob is talking about right here when it comes to Epcot.
Yep.
This problem just continues to worsen. I mean, what are we like a year and a half from this?
Yes.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And why can't they fix a light issue? I get it's in the ground. I get people walk on it, things like that. But you have something that has not worked well since day one and has had multiple problem after problem after problem. And it's like, can you guys not come up with something to, replace it, fix it, redo it?
And you've seen my pictures of that English boat that has it on the decks, and it works. Yes. And it's exposed to the ocean, for God's sakes. to waves and salt and corrosion, and it works.
At
It's
this
just-
point, I would say just rip it out and just cement it in and paint it a different color. Just
Paint some fluorescent colors
That
so
would be
that
admitting they
blacklight
made a
shines on it and it
mistake.
looks beautiful.
That would be
There you go.
admitting a mistake. They don't do that.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
better than
That
looking
would
at
be
that.
a
That looks like a
Erica, that-
disaster.
Erica, that would be so much work to do to rip something out, like all that concrete, and then put it all down. It's not like they're doing that in a completely different park right now, which would be a lot more complicated.
I am neither a larcenous nor a litigious human being, and I hate
We don't
people
know the
who
meaning
are.
of the word work.
But boy, I'd find a way to trip over that and sue him for a few $1 million, wouldn't you?
I mean, that's the scary thing, right? You are setting yourself up for a bad lawsuit here, but I mean, you compare that.
Unless you join Disney Plus, then you can't sue.
Then you can't sue. Yeah, and maybe they're doing that here. You compare that to something like this, where you have lights everywhere and they're all synchronized.
I know.
But you notice these lights aren't strips either. They're like individual light bulbs. So
They
would that
are.
be easier to replace and maintain.
I think you do
Not that
have.
he's getting a free pass here.
Well, and if one burns out, you replace it as opposed to having a whole strip to fix
That's a
somehow.
good point, actually.
Yeah,
That's a
true.
really good point.
Yeah, I
think
will
they're-
say they finally fixed the Jolly
That's
Holiday sign at Disneyland. That's
Oh yes, the L. Yeah, which is ironic that it was the L that had the problem there.
What the hell was going on there? That's what I
I-
want to know.
A problem. Okay, so if you don't know what was going on, let me see if I can look it up real quick here. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get all the references here.
While you're getting that, and
He's the fastest keyboard in the West,
just
folks, if
look
you
at
don't know.
the lights, though. I mean, these are amazing shots. Is this from BioReconstruct?
Yes.
Gotta be, yeah.
And they do some amazing work. Obviously, I love that. That channel on X and whatnot. But here you have. I mean, you look at it, and while yes, they're all lighting up, it's an immersive land. Like the whole Celestial Park is just lighting up, and it's all cohesive. So it's
Yeah.
like you don't just walk through one part and go, oh, it's like this. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the OL. Mm-hmm.
Epic
So
Universe is the classiest rave this side of Florida, baby.
So they redid the sign so that it looked
Life's
like
a jolly holiday with Mary, but we won't put her in our English part of the park.
they put some new LED lights in, and they left all the bubble lights, around the restaurant. But for some reason, they wanted to redo this sign, and the sign just didn't go well. It looks terrible. They fixed it, but why? And I still don't understand why they had to have the black, punch outs.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I don't know. This was kind of it is a relatively minor story, but it does kind of say something about like why on earth would you change this? I understand like the Jolly Holiday sign, it was kind of their first foray into LED, and I think it may have been even a test bed to see whether or not LED had come to a point where they can maybe switch out all of the lights on Main Street. And yes, folks, eventually that's going to happen. It's just it's taking a while because you could really destroy that land if you do it improperly. So they did modify it really weird, and then now they have the individual lights again. But again, I think, is that L still like that, Bob?
No, they fixed it finally.
Okay, they fixed it all. All right. Well, that's encouraging. It only took them
I was happy to
a
see that.
couple months to do that.
People go for the pastries. They don't care about the sign.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the attitude.
yeah, that's true. It's the details, right? But when you have something like this, being as impressive as it is, you do have to step up your game right here.
And it
Yeah.
also shows that Epic Universe is a daytime park and a nighttime park, and you got to
That's
do
true.
both to get it. You really
Now here's the thing.
And unlike,
Okay, go ahead, Noel.
and unlike Animal Kingdom, maybe this park will actually be open after 6 o'clock.
I'm hoping so because the night atmosphere coming to this park is truly very impressive. You can see right here, this is Park Hoppin'. They have a full walkthrough of all the portals and so forth. I don't want to get too spoiler here, but you can kind of see what's going on there. Now, here's the thing that has me a little bit concerned. We got this story out of Universal Parks News today, It says right here, virtual line details revealed for Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry at Epic Universe. Signage posted at Universal Orlando Resort has revealed details for the upcoming virtual line, which will be offered at Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry at Epic Universe. You can see right here. It's kind of like the virtual queue system, right? And we've seen Universal implement their own version of the virtual queue system for attractions like, I think, Secret Life of Pets. When that opened at Universal Studios Hollywood, that started out on virtual queue because it's a slow load unload for that specific attraction. And like it's not a mover, but the intervals aren't as tight as, say, like Haunted Mansion, for example. And before we get into this conversation, Ron! Hello there, sir.
Hey,
Hello.
Ron.
Am I here?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I didn't see you back there. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
I had to.
well,
I can't do like 10 hours of streaming in a row.
hey, you had
How
the
dare
live
you
stream
not be
earlier
able to-
today. You had WWE Pro. It's okay. Take all the time you need, Ron. You are just fine. We were just talking about here the virtual queue being implemented for Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry at Epic Universe. Now, here's the thing, folks. This attraction, I've heard, is a pretty good throughput. It offers a pretty good throughput for this attraction, but they are still under the impression that this will be a long wait. And from what I've heard from Jay over there at Park Hoppin', as he revealed on the Park Hoppin' live stream that he has over there every single Monday, apparently they have a queue long enough to hold 6 hours worth of line. Which, if you do the math, if this is a 2,000 per hour capacity attraction, then theoretically you could have as many as 12,000 people in that line, given that output, right? Now, I don't know if it is 2,000. I'm just saying hypothetically that's what you're looking at right there. If I've heard with this attraction specifically, they've had problems getting multiple of these ride vehicles to go simultaneously, and that might be restricting the throughput for this, which is why they may have implemented a virtual queue in this fashion, right? Who knows?
On the other hand,
permanent.
getting in this vehicle is easier than a lot of the others because you don't have the whole pull down over your shoulder, lock it. It's strictly a seatbelt.
Yeah, it's a seatbelt, which I will say, seatbelts do require their own checks. Bob, I'm sure you know this very well.
Yes.
you go on like Tower of Terror, for example, right? There's a little bit of a process,
Yeah.
but
Star Tours too.
Star Tours too. There's a little bit of a wait there. I thought this was dual loading station for this attraction, but I'm not sure. Okay.
Well,
Here's
each car holds,
my-
8 people, right?
Wow. What?
No, wait.
what was
no,
it?
8 or 9 or
no,
yeah,
sorry,
but,
12. I can't remember how many it sits in the car.
For
4 on each side, but I think there's one more in the middle, isn't there? Because it's the step up in the second row. I don't remember. There's a really good video, by the way, by some guy I didn't know of, who's a big guy who went to every test seat of every attraction and
Yes.
said, if you're big like me, can you get on this or not? And everything was very accessible, the least being Stardust Racers. But
for
astoundingly
good reason.
accessible. Yeah.
But Theme Park Express actually
There it is.
made that vehicle
There.
and very, very good.
14.
You can see right here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3,
14.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what? 12 plus 2. That's 14. Is that right?
Yeah.
14.
Okay. Or if am I? Is a math
You're right.
off? Yeah. Okay. So 14 people fit in each ride vehicle, and I believe it's dual loading station. So you have a pretty good throughput from what I understand. Okay. They are having problems with simultaneous. I should say they are having problems getting to full capacity for this attraction because of all the ride vehicles that they have and getting them to work together, which is why they may have implemented a virtual queue. That's fine. Here's my problem though. Jay from Park Hoppin' is telling me that he heard that for the first day of Epic Universe, they want as many as 50,000 to be there.
Wow.
The top end for Disneyland, which has had 70 years worth of attractions being added to that park, I think the ride count, I want to say, is at least over 40. That max for that park is 65,000. Okay, 50,000 for Epic Universe is insane. Okay, I
1,000 for Disneyland.
well, if you really max it out, you could probably get there, but Disneyland would never want to get there again. I think the max that they ever want to get to, especially with the reservation system, is 65,000.
Cars because the trams aren't running because somebody lit their Miata on fire or whatever it was.
It's just with 80,000, you get really dangerous for Disneyland, so they really want to avoid that as much as possible. But again, that's 70 years worth of attractions. You're talking. I mean, there are attractions on top of each other at Disneyland. Okay, that's not the case here at Epic Universe. As incredible as it is, again, it's a brand new park, and it's only going to have a certain amount of attractions on opening day. Yep. How on earth is this park going to facilitate 50,000? Especially like the parking lot only has spaces for 5,000. This is kind of troubling to me. And please, our new panelists joining us, the panelists existing, or that have joined us this entire time, please, your thoughts on all of this.
Build more parking lots.
But that doesn't solve the problem inside.
No, I know. I'm trying to do the math, and it's not mathing. I mean, 50,000 capacity for the park, only 5,000 parking spots. That's just for Epic Universe. I know there's Universal Studios and there's Islands of Adventure.
And there's people who are staying at the hotels and parking in their lots and getting in.
Yeah.
So
I'm.
By the way, is my belief why at least Celestial Park will be open late. And the reason is, remember the first thing we noticed, those of us with some hospitality experience about the Helios, is the lack of a fine dining restaurant, the lack of multiple venues to eat at, because, hey, you've got the Pan Asian right there and Atlantic down the way and the pizza place. But that means it's got to be open for those guests to go out there and sit down at a table at Atlantic at 6 or 7 o'clock at night and come back to their room at 9:30 or 10 after watching all the fireworks and the lights. So I think it'll be open at night. There's no doubt.
I'm thinking maybe they think that maybe the mentality is that there's enough to do in the park that maybe that'll help mitigate that issue. I don't know.
Well,
there's an impressive roster of attractions. There's no question about it, but it doesn't have nearly
and food
Disney
and merch stores and bars and all of that. So whoever's in one of those is not trying to get one of those seats on Harry Potter. So
right. So my issue, because I'm actually ready to book my trip to Florida right now, and I'm planning on going to Epic Universe the week after. And when I heard that they were going to do the virtual queue for this, I've also heard the rumor that they're possibly doing the virtual queue for the Monsters and Leaks, which is not
right.
And that doesn't bode well for me because, one, you're only allowed to make a 1-day reservation for this park. That's it, 1 day. And you literally are going to be spending the whole entire day at this park trying to get as much in. And when you have your number one top tier attraction, the Battle of Ministry, on a virtual queue, it just brings me back to the virtual queue, nightmares at Disneyland, going, okay, am I going to be able to get this? If I don't get this, well, then I went to, I went to Florida for a whole week and only got to go to Epic Universe once, and I didn't get to go on the major attraction. Now, granted, I'm sure I'll go back, but that would be very disappointing for me that I wouldn't be able to get onto the top tier attraction, at the park, or even possibly two of them. If I can't get on those two, I mean, I'm really looking forward to, the whole Dark Universe. I mean, that looks amazing to me too. But if I can't get on their number one top ride or the, Battle of Ministry, number one ride there, it's like, what the heck? Yes, it's a beautiful land. It's great, but I'm not getting the full experience, and I'm really disappointed. So I got to be honest with you, I'm really nervous about booking this trip and going, knowing that I might not be able to get on a couple of the rides I really want to experience.
No, go ahead.
Wonderful point, Bob. And that's the thing. It's like, when it comes to virtual queue, like I can say this from experience with Rise Resistance at Disney World, it takes away from your vacation a lot because it puts a lot of unrestful stress onto you, because if that was like the premier thing you were going for the park for, you have to think plan your whole vacation around like, okay, do I need to be in this area at this time? Am I going to have a chance to do it? You're thinking more about one ride out of the whole park than just enjoying the park. It's one thing when you go in, you know, you arrive at a park so early and it's like, okay, how do I factor in restroom breaks, you know, sitting in the sun for however long. But if you're just going and it's basically a look at the draw of whether you're going to get it or not, it's really going to take away that value and all the money you've dumped into this kind of a trip, because we know, you know, Epic is going to, it costs a lot of money to go. And it's just so disappointing to see that. Say you might come back from your trip, you know, once Epic Universe is truly in the zeitgeist, which it will be this year outside of our circles, because, you know, it's going to be advertised to oblivion. It's going to be all over Instagram outside of the media pass and the influencers and stuff already being in there. But what's going to be disappointing is you're going to come back and be like, oh, hey, did you get a chance to go on the new Harry Potter ride? No, virtual queue. I was there, but I couldn't go. Well, did you at least get to do the big new Monsters ride that I've seen on all the commercials? No, I didn't actually, because they did a virtual queue. It's a fundamental problem, and I get what they're trying to avoid here, but sometimes it's like, can you at least have a few alternatives here? Because it's one thing to have the virtual queue for the premiere ride. When you're doing it for two of them, that's going to be double the problem.
Well, and
I still believe.
Sorry, real quick. The other thing I have a problem with too, they're only letting people go one day. That's it, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like if I was able to say, oh, I'm going to the Epic Universe 3 or 4 days in a row, you have the opportunity to try for the virtual queue several different days. I'm not going to worry or stress about it. I am trying to get it until I get it, but I'm not going to be as worried or stressed out about it as I would if I was just going for one day. So
I don't think that's going to last. I just don't.
Well, I don't think it's going to last either.
Strategy,
but
I think the strategy is to give people a taste. So when they book in the future, it's like right now it's a carrot and it's a big carrot, and you go, you experience it, but then let's say you'll book again next, you know, the following year or even in 2 years, and then you'll really, and by that point, maybe you can do multiple days at Epic Universe. But I feel like right now, Universal strategy is to give people the taste and give them the taste of what can be a full experience for like a week-long vacation with them, and then come back down the road.
And I still
this
say
is only temporary.
That for, I would say, the majority of the people who will be drawn to Epic, certainly of the, I go to Disney, and that's all I go to, but I don't know, this looks pretty good. Maybe I better go check it out. They haven't been to Islands or the Studio Park either, or the water park. They've just never gone over there. So Epic is going to be their way into the entire Universal experience. And that's going to be a big deal, because it's going to build a brand affinity and say, yeah, Epic is really special and it's the newest thing, but there's some good stuff besides that.
Yeah, I think if people go in it with the mentality of, you know, okay, I'm probably not going to see everything, but I would absolutely book another vacation, you know. And I mean, just by looking at the videos and the photos, you know you want to go there multiple times. And I haven't even walked into this park, and I can already tell I would want to go every year, you know, and hardly look in Disney's direction. So I think there's a lot of positives here. But it's not going to, they're not going to evade the criticism either, especially in the coming weeks. And in the grand opening, and while it's in the honeymoon phase, it's definitely going to get its criticisms.
I don't mean to be overly critical of Epic Universe. Not by any means. I'm just, from an operational perspective, I'm just a little bit concerned because
go ahead. And it kind of brings, you know, as much as we probably hate to admit it, but it could be a situation where maybe Disney was onto something all this time with the way they do their queue lines and their virtual queues. We just didn't see it before until this came. And we kind of see train wreck coming a little bit, you know, with the queue lines and people actually getting to do all the attractions they want to do. Maybe there is some value to this virtual queue. I mean, in a way, think about it. What other alternatives does the theme park industry have? Disney's been exhausting this, trying to figure out what's the sweet spot. They haven't really figured it out. And then Universal, I guess, is going to be guinea pigging as well. And it's really difficult because people like theme parks. They love riding rides.
But
And it's hard. I feel like in the industry, that is the hardest thing to mitigate is you want to give your guests the best experience. You want them to be able to go on to every ride, but at the same time, you got dreams in one hand and reality in the other, which is going to fall first. And I think that's just the reality of theme park vacations.
Consider this, however. Take Super Nintendo World and all of those things you do with the band that you put on your wrist and summon points and compete with people and whatever. That's not a ride, but you could easily spend an hour or two exploring all of that. Same thing with the enhanced wand experiences at Harry Potter. And then when you get told, oh, wait, there's 2 other Harry Potter lands where these wands work too over at the other parks? I guess what I'm saying is, as spectacular and as promotable and as, gosh, I want to go on them 20 times as these super attractions are, they're not the whole story. And they're not everybody's be all and end all. There's a lot going on here with food and with merch and with just atmosphere.
Yeah.
So,
I guess.
as far as I'm concerned, I want a whole day at night. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And if,
Yeah.
and
With
if I'm
the heat,
staying
you'd
at that
rather go at
hotel, I get
Everybody
the
would-
night as the view if I'm on that side. And also, by the way, to paraphrase a great character actor in Diamonds Are Forever, I didn't know there was a pool down there.
I was just
People
thinking the
staying
same
there.
thing. It looks so beautiful at night.
Sure.
I-
People
look,
are going to
at-
want to make more of a resort stay out of these hotels because, frankly, they're
Is
not
that
expensive. They're just not
Is that a
compared to
parking-
things out there.
garage just for Helios?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe it is.
So there's add that to your total for the park, and add the 2 at the Stella and the Nova.
But
And then the electric buses and everything else. And guess
that's
what?
true.
About all these parking lots, nobody sold municipal bonds to build them.
I think the total parking capacity for Universal Studios Orlando, at least for the parking garages that they have over there at that resort before Epic Universe, was like 19,000. But I think that only supports the 2 current parks they have right now. This doesn't include Epic Universe. Okay, parking's one thing, but then you actually have to get into the park itself. And look, if you're looking at a one attraction in one of these portals doing holding as many as 12,000 people, and you're limited in terms of the entrances and exits. These lands don't connect. You have to go out to Celestial Park and then go back in if you want to see these portals. To have 12,000 just for one attraction going through there, that's a lot of traffic right here.
That assumes they ever let it get that far. Just because.
They're saying if Jay's report is correct, though, they're talking about 50,000 people opening day.
But
those who have to go this summer.
opening day is a phenomenon unto itself, isn't
That's
it?
a fair point. Yes.
And I've seen stories where they're intentionally going to limit attendance for the first year
Right.
to give the people who do go a better experience. And that's why the comparison of, will they outdraw Magic Kingdom is irrelevant at the beginning, because they're not trying to. They're trying to spread the brand and spread the message. So
Yeah.
I hear you. I understand from an operational point of view what you're saying. I don't think when it's all said and done, it's going to be as big a deal. I just don't.
It'll settle.
Because they're not stupid. These people are smart.
It'll settle, and they'll get to that. They'll get to that playing field, the field kind of that even keel playing field eventually. Give it about 2-3 years.
And by the way, how long is that dragon show? The Cirque du Soleil a la Dragon show? 20 minutes? 30 minutes?
20-30 minutes. I think.
Well,
I want to say something like that.
there's a period of your day, and that theater's got to hold what, a couple thousand people?
Yeah, it's a big venue and it's a big
Yeah.
show right there.
And
for
when
sure.
people started saying when the prices came out, oh God, that's a lot of money. We thought it was going to be, what does it cost for a
That's
ticket
another
for Cirque du
reason-
Soleil?
And that's another reason why the queue lines were built the way they were at such a large scale and
Right.
at such an ornate scale too. So there's so much to look at because the queue lines are attractions in themselves. I will say that is
Yes.
pretty smart. That is and I don't know, Vash, maybe there's maybe I don't know if this is documented anywhere, but it seems to me that the Harry Potter Battle at the Ministry, I feel like is the largest indoor queue line in the world. I could be
Yes.
wrong because I know there's theme parks
Yeah.
in the Middle East and all their theme parks are typically indoors because of the heat and everything. But this really sets such a precedent in the industry for these massive popular e-ticket attractions, where okay, we're expecting X amount of thousands of people, and at the very least, if half of those, or even a little more than half, can be housed indoors in air conditioning in the Florida heat,
Yes.
where that's actually good news for Florida. That's good news,
Well,
at least I'd rather
and
spend 6 hours indoors in a line than
cues that have
outside
taken
with
the industry
comfortable shades.
forward. The first one that I think really comes to mind is Indiana Jones at Disneyland. My God, what an amazing queue. And you didn't want to go through it fast. You wanted to see all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they said, aha,
Yeah.
that's good. So then they enhanced the queue at the Jungle Ride. And then they look at Expedition Everest.
Well, remember that was more of a, hey, we have to take people from Adventureland where there's no space to a place where there is space, which is the
Right,
parking lot.
sure.
And that ended up being a quarter of a mile.
Well,
so
it's
they were kind of forced in
why
that
they had to
position.
go under the berm for pirates and for Haunted
Yeah.
Mansion.
Yeah.
You make a problem into a feature. So,
Erica, one last thought, and then I got an outro Bob because he's got a hard out right here.
and me
Go ahead,
too,
Erica.
I'm afraid.
Okay.
Bob and
I
I will
just
go
think,
wandering off into theme park land.
No.
The Rise of the Resistance, when you walk into where they've got all of the I forgot their names already because I don't even.
Right?
The
Brandon.
Star Destroyer for the First Order.
Yeah, whatever that was. You could tell I follow
It's
Star Wars.
okay.
No,
It's just
The bad guy
You're
shit.
in
very
it for-
dismissive.
you're in there for like 1 minute, and they're like,
Yeah.
herding you like cattle to get into the line so you can get on the ride. Here, you could actually enjoy the queue line and take it all in. That's what I love about the Harry Potter one, where you can't just sit there and really take it all in for virtually as long as you want, because they're hurting you. Yeah, that room.
Yeah, the famous Star Destroyer room right here.
Mhm.
I do agree with you that from what I've
There's not
heard,
enough time to take it all in and just yeah.
I've heard that operations may change because this is kind of media preview and everything like that. But I'm very encouraged that they might have some free roaming here in this amazing space because it is absolutely incredible to look at. Speaking of incredible to look at, though, well, if you want many things incredible to look at, you got to go over to Bear Place 28 where they got all kinds of stuff over there. Am I right, Bob?
That's true. So, by the way, thank you so much for having me on the show today. It's been great. And everyone, don't forget to hit that like button for T3PO. I actually just hit 7,000 subs on Sunday. So, whoop, whoop. That was awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Also,
And
please make sure you upload another video. I don't like your video count right now.
Sorry. Yeah, I need to. I upload like a video pretty much almost every day for shorts if I can. Sometimes I miss a day or two, but
Nolan, you've been working on that one for how long now?
what?
8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Pot,
funny.
kettle,
Almost
pot.
The popular video is
Oprah,
that Johnny
Uma.
Campbell one, which is coming up on 1 year, which is great. So it's got 1 million views.
Oh, yes, the parts of the sorry, Jack's
Popular. And you'll see it.
Sparrow one.
And then I hope you guys will come hang out with me, Theme Park Casual, and Courtney in California tonight because we have our other channel, which is the Park Streamers Hangout, and we have a special show for everyone. It's going to be amazing because we are going to have the legendary Disney legend, Don Hahn, there it is, and former Imagineer Chris Merritt on our show to talk about their brand new book called The Happiest Place on Earth. I've read this book pretty much twice now, all the way through. And it's kind of neat because it talks about really the first 15 years of Disneyland and what it was like for Disney to build the park, go through, after the park was built, what they had to do, how about their grand reopening, all the stuff, how they redid Tomorrowland by 1967. So it's really kind of cool. I think you guys would really like it. They're going to be on for an hour with us, and then we're going to talk about a couple other topics. But I hope you guys will come join us. It's at 6 p.m. tonight instead of 8 p.m. as usual, because we have our special guests. But it's going to be tonight, Pacific time.
6 Pacific, yeah.
6 Pacific. And again, if you love animated films like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, et cetera, Don Hahn produced a lot of great films for Disney in the time, and Chris Merritt has worked on some amazing things over at Disneyland as an Imagineer. So I'm really looking forward to having Chris back on the show and Don for the first time to talk about their brand new book. So please come and join me for that. And then I've been doing the fundraising for the Chalk Walk. We talked about the guitar last week. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been donating to the Chalk Walk, which is a Children's Hospital of Orange County, because the Park Streamers actually have a team for the Chalk Walk. So I just want to say thanks to everyone who's been donating or checking out the stream. And with that, I will be back in the park tomorrow with my dad, and Thursday again. I think tomorrow during the day, Thursday in the evening, and then I think Easter Sunday. I'm kind of taking a break from my Sunday streams because it is Easter. So I want to wish all of you a great week, and for those of you that are celebrating Easter, have a great, happy Easter, everyone. And Vash, as always, thank you for having me on the show. And it's great being on with Erica and Ron, even though he had to go. Oh, there is Ron. He's back. Lou and Nolan, you guys are amazing. So I can't say thank you enough for letting me being part of this amazing show.
Awesome stuff, Bob. I very much appreciate you being on here. You're an amazing panelist. You have a wealth of knowledge and experience. Thank you so much for joining us. And hey guys, be sure to join that Park Streamers Hangout with Don Hahn there, and obviously
I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic.
Man, yeah, Bob had to, he had to go through a lot in order to make this happen. So go ahead, give him a subscribe and a watch. Very, very cool. Thank you so much, Bob, for joining us tonight.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bob.
Bye, Bob.
We love Bob.
We will see you later.
And I've got to depart because I got to rest up if I'm going to watch that. I want to be awake and aware.
I don't disagree. Where can the good people find you, LW? You got a bunch of stuff going on everywhere.
They find me basically wherever you are, of course, because I follow in your shadow. But every Sunday, you and I do our live thing, and then I've this little thing called the Genre Guys that keeps growing. In fact, we came up with our next movie during another show the other day, and suddenly it's all set. So, Genre Guys has been doing some really good but kind of darker movies lately, between our Crimson Tide for Gene Hackman's memory and Tombstone for Val Kilmer's. And next up is Excalibur, which is the wonderful John Boorman version of the Arthur legend. And we thought, well, what's an antidote to that? Well, if I told you we're going to be on a mission from, that guy upstairs, would that give you a clue? So we're going to do that.
Going to be on a mission from God.
Yeah. So, I love that.
That gives me the blues.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Anyway, is that happening like immediately on the channel here?
This one is actually on the channel right now.
If you don't know that movie, go watch it and go listen to the amazingly diverse score from Lalo Schifrin. We love the music too, even if we can't play it on YouTube. So we cheat and find somebody else who's dumb enough to do it and put their link up. That's what we do. Anyway, Genre Guys is a perk if you are a member of the Pro Show channel, but it comes here a few months later. And I noticed I left the number vague, Vash, out of deference to your heavy schedule as far as how many months later it comes here. So one way or another, you can see it, and you can even see it twice. So the show's so good, they named it twice, not New York. But anyway, that's what I do around here, and show up and kibitz on other things like last night's live stream. And since Pro has announced that there are going to be more and more live streams, I guess I'll be here more and more and more too.
Indeed.
So I must depart for the the nethermost regions of Hollywood by way of Chattanooga, Tennessee. But everybody, thank you for listening and caring. And these great people you see above me here, wow, what an assembly. Never mind the Avengers. This is an assemble.
Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun.
Did I send you the Matri link of that? They were doing it a cappella. It's really, really good.
Ooh, maybe that's next. That's the next jukebox. Backlash.
Yes,
jukebox
that would be
there,
good.
so.
That would be good. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lou.
Bye,
You can
Lou.
catch-
Hi, Lou.
You can catch Lou on this channel at T3PO Live and Hollywood Backlight with Lou and you every single Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Definitely check it all out. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? I want to go
In
ahead
memory
and...
of our dearly departed.
That's a
I had-
very
I
macabre
had-
joke right there.
I had to do the old hard reboot on my internet, and I was having trouble in here, but I knew it wasn't just me when my son was going, "Why is this game so laggy?" so if his game's laggy and my StreamYard is laggy, then the internet needs a hard reboot.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so we were having a conversation about Epic Universe, capacity, demand, all those different things operationally that's going on. I do agree with Erica and Lou. Opening day, hey, you know what? They try to get the big numbers in there, try to make it a big experience. They obviously want the crowds on social media feeds and so forth, but you don't want to have a bad experience, if you can avoid it. Ron, in your experience, having worked at the Mouse House for a number of years, are you concerned about demand for Epic? Or are you confident that they're going to be able to manage it? I mean, look, Universal, they do some great stuff. What's your take on all of this? Ron! Oh, he might be having internet issues still.
No.
Yeah. The Mouse House got him.
No, I think that. Can you hear me? Did I put it in the chat? I heard the question. I don't know if you guys.
Okay.
can hear me.
Well, go ahead and answer the
is it coming
question.
through
If
like
you're on
I'm,
delay,
Mr. Robot?
just ignore all that and go.
All right. Well, if you can hear me, look, they're going to be better than my issues. That's for sure. Like having my issues right now, I think they'll be okay. And look, let's be honest. There's going to be at least one hiccup in the park over at the Isle of Burke.
Ha 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 ha.
Wow.
Wonder what
that
that
is
was.
that's really something right there.
Now that's a cliffhanger,
All you guys are
everybody.
frozen to me.
Tune in next week for the show where we find out what the hiccup was.
No, Hiccup,
I don't know
the
what I said.
character, Nolan.
The character. And the dad
Oh
joke.
no, the hiccup is not the hiccup.
Hiccup is Hiccup, Nolan. Oh boy, this show is
Hiccup,
is
Nolan,
really...
hiccup, the dinosaur, yeah. Anyway,
Oh, okay. I guess I'm still.
anyway, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, expect the speed of the expansions to match the size of the crowd. Yeah, that's a fair point. Because
Weird.
here's the thing: even if you have a very well attended theme park and look, I mean, you have like huge crowd numbers and stuff like that. Sometimes that'll say to managers, "Hey, look, we have to really invest in this park. We have to really move on these phase expansions. We need to increase capacity because our demand might exceed our supply," right? This is kind of what happened with Disney Hollywood Studios, for example. That park was notoriously underbuilt because the thinking was, hey, you know what? If we open up Pleasure Island, if we open up Typhoon Lagoon, if we open up Disney Hollywood Studios, at that point it was Disney Entertainment Studios. Between all of these things, that's your day. When people didn't really look at resorts like that, they looked at it as, you open up a new park, it's going to be a new park a la Epcot or Magic Kingdom, and then they come and they realize, oh, there's the Indiana Jones Spectacular. There might be a great movie ride, and that's it. Yeah, that was a big problem. So they expanded that park thusly. That might be what happens here, which is good. At the same time, though, I am at least a little bit concerned with how this is all going to go through. Erica, I think you had some great notes on all of this. Do you have any points to expand on this topic?
No, it's like a both and. I mean, yeah, there's definitely room for concern. But at the same time, like I said earlier, it's the most difficult thing to manage. There's no amount of industrial engineering that is going to solve crowd problems. It's just it's the nature of the beast when you're choosing a theme park vacation. And I would think most people understand that. If you're going to book a vacation to something like this that's so new, it's the newborn baby, essentially. Everyone's going to be oohing and eyeing over it. And but that's the idea, is to, oh, you didn't see everything? Book next year. That's kind of universal strategy. And I hope people will, embrace that. I hope that when they go, they're walking away with, oh, well, we didn't get to see everything, so let's book another vacation, versus, we didn't get to see everything. But I guess you'll have people in both camps. You'll have the ones that'll see it one way, you'll have the negative Nancy's that are, like, oh, it was a waste of money and we didn't get to do anything. It was just too crowded. You're always going to have those. I mean, you got people that complain about that with Disney. They're but you just have to you have to know what you're walking into, and you're walking into a theme park, a very popular brand of a theme park,
I mean, it's the first theme park to open up in the Central Florida area in over 25 years. So it's a quarter of a century. And in social media era, that's going to be extremely popular. Nolan, are you concerned at all? Your thoughts?
Well, no, I think we should be fine, because I think we found out last week that there were complaints that there was too much space in the park. So I think we should be plenty fine for these crowds. I'm sorry. I'm still upset about that.
That's a really interesting idea.
You consider the source, but I'm not going to say anymore.
That's true. If you are coming into this with a Disneyland mindset, which, by the way, Disneyland was built a certain way back in the 1950s, right? In order to not only, I think it was like the first of any of Disney parks, and you didn't really know how demanding it was actually going to be, right? But also, too, it was built a certain way in order to be a very charming park. You can see the understated castle, the understated Main Street facades, and the 5/8 scale railroads, for example. It was all built a certain way in order to evoke a certain emotion. This is epic. The theme is epic. Right. It's supposed to be big. It's supposed to be very accommodating. Yes. So that's what they're going for.
Quaint and charming is different from so big,
Exactly. It's huge, right? And as we learned, actually, from Theme Park Wizard, which is awesome, apparently they might have a parade that actually goes through Celestial Park, and that's maybe why some of those walkways look as big as they do, and that's very, very exciting, very, very encouraging. And I am very hopeful that these phase expansions that we're hearing about, maybe Zelda, maybe Creature from Black Lagoon, maybe a restaurant at Harry Potter, all those different things do get approved and are added within a very short time frame, which I think Universal is capable of. Go ahead, Erica.
There was one thing there was an observation I wanted to make, and I actually think it was you that kind of brought it to light, but I hadn't quite articulated it this way. The reason why the Helios Hotel isn't, I would call it a deluxe resort, and I put that in quotes. It doesn't have a spa. It doesn't have like a salon. It doesn't have the fine dining. So I guess it would be in the category of a moderate resort. Putting it in Disney's terms, because I'm more familiar with a lot of the Disney terms. But your Hard Rock Cafe and the other fancy one, I can't want to say Portofino. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, the Portofino. And like you said, the Hard Rock
aren't those two hotels more expensive than this one because of the amenities they offer?
Maybe. I think that might be a possibility. I know the Helios isn't like the very top end in Universal's luxury, or their definition of luxury, right? Category. And I don't even know. This is a very interesting discussion as well, because there was a recent post by Ashley Carter. Let me go ahead and put this up real fast, talking about Express Pass. And you know that there is a perk for Universal Resort Hotels that in the luxury category, the deluxe category, you get included Express. I believe that would be consistent with Epic, but I'm not sure. And, people were thinking... Oh, go ahead, Erica.
No, I had heard about it, but I don't know much. I just heard the surface that pass holders, or there's a rumor that certain pass holders will, what do you call it? The Express Pass will be a perk.
Right. So I believe the highest tier of annual pass provides you a perk which gives you Express after 4. And people were suggesting that was going to be consistent with Epic. And I believe there might have been a Facebook post about it as well. Well, apparently that was provided in error, because that perk will not be the case at Epic Universe. It will still be the case, I believe, for their other parks, but even that requires a little bit more investigation. But apparently that will not be the case for Epic, especially. And you can kind of see right here. Yeah, it's a little bit lame, but listen, if this is going to be a very in-demand park, and by the way, we just had a whole panel that said, hey, I want to go at night. the whole populace is going to want to go at night too. How can you facilitate this?
I do prefer theme parking in the evening anyways, because it's still muggy and it can be miserable in the evenings in Florida, but
sure,
it's a different kind of mug. It's just muggy versus the heat and the humidity hitting you in the face.
And in the evening, everything's just so beautiful. It's just such a vibe.
It is. I know.
Instead of just having a bright
different vibe.
Like in midday, you got the sun shining so bright, so everything's just so, you think it'd be easier to see, but I feel like at nighttime you just see more of like the shadows and like the personality that's crafted into, say, the Helios or Super Nintendo World. And by nighttime, you like, when we saw that sweet rave party going on at Epic Universe a little bit ago, Vash, like I just couldn't believe the amount of detail. Like I never thought they would have done that. I thought they'd do some cool lighting tricks, but syncing everything like that, it's looking incredible. And especially if they give all these people an opportunity to do it, I'm all for it. And I guess I can tolerate having to waive that. I just might cry a little bit in the corner, but you know what? It'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll have to definitely pick your battles going to this park. I mean, just like, even when we go to Disney, regardless of the attendance, we still use the same strategy. And that is, we usually skip the fireworks and we skip the parades and we'll hop on, whatever attraction has a decent wait time. And but with Disney, because we've grown up around it, we've seen all the shows. Even when they introduce new ones, are kind of a different version of the same thing. So but this is different. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't want to miss anything. They're not going to want to miss a show. They're not going to want to miss a parade. Me, on the other hand, I would be in the camp of, I'll catch that on another trip. Let me skip the parade and the show, and I'm going to go into the Harry Potter line, or I'm going to go to Monsters Unchained, but it's all in like what's important to you. And even when you're doing Disney planning advice for people, you ask them the same questions. You have to prioritize what you want to see and planning. And this Universal has now brought that level of vacation planning. They are now in that category where you're going to have to plan your days. You're going to have, it's not going to be so spontaneous. You're going to have to literally like plan what I want to see, what I'm willing to sacrifice, you know, because they're in the big league now. Not that they weren't before, but they've really thrusted themselves into the, we'll say, mega league.
Definitely. Like, we already have a whole list we have of just our priorities, because there's just no way we're going to be able to hit everything. We even have a list prepared if we're only able to go on 2 things, period, if the lines are just, for whatever reason, astronomically long. And the fact that they're even offering any sort of services anyway for this park is a blessing, because I didn't even think they'd have any express pass here, period. So I'm shocked they actually even have it.
Attractions aside, I can't decide when we go what I'm going to eat, because I've only got one stomach. You know what I mean?
Erica, you need to get that Donkey Kong dessert thing with like the ice cream on top of it. That is like the number one thing I want to try there. It's like a DK barrel and it has like a graham cracker and ice cream. It's so cool looking.
Oh yeah,
one of these days, one day, I'm gonna go theme parking with you, because if you're a foodie like me, we'll just eat our way through a park. That'd be so much fun.
That's cool. That's
cream. So
that's awesome. I thought I had a video. Yeah, here you go. Okay, here's a picture at least. I know there's some video out there and stuff like that. And if I had my wits about me, maybe I could actually pull that up right there. But you can see.
That's what that. Okay, what flavor ice cream is that? It's not like banana, is it?
It might be banana soft serve, but
okay. So if it is banana, my next question: does it taste anything like the banana gelato? Because that stuff has crack in it, I swear. It doesn't taste like real bananas. It doesn't taste like the artificial banana flavor. I hate artificial banana flavor.
The DK Crush Float. I'm sorry. Yeah, DK Crush Float is banana, pineapple flavored ice cream, and souvenir mug and spoon.
How much is that going to be? That looks so cool.
Probably $18 because you get to keep them.
That's it. I was thinking it'd be like a $60 mug.
It's only off by a couple bucks, $20.
Yeah, you were right on. 18 bucks right here.
You know how many of those you could get instead of buying a Nintendo Switch 2 game? My God, that's great.
The DK ice cream, I've seen some posts about this, but people are actually going insane over this.
Really?
This is the one of the, I believe, 4 flavors they have, but the kind of these cones that they have at Isla Burke, apparently they're going insane for these. And I mean, like 45 minutes in line for this. Now, this is just one of 4, so they have multiple flavors of these cones. But yeah, this is like this is the kind of
not my favorite thing.
I believe one of these. Yeah,
is that pork?
Yes, pork, bacon, and jam mac and cheese cone brings a sweet and savory combo to the Howler Trader Dragon.
Just stuff it with pork and rice and beans, and I'm good. That's the Cuban in me talking.
They might have that. But apparently, like, people are going crazy for this specific snack. Like,
an idea. Bed meat
sandwich
and black beans and rice. That's simple.
Well, okay, so
you know,
but this is also the capacity conversation here, because apparently Jay from Park Oppen went when it was like a little over 20% capacity. He was saying they're not anywhere near 50%. And even with 20% capacity, the line for this specific snack right here was 45 minutes. Okay. This is where the
thing is,
go ahead.
for someone who doesn't like mac and cheese, everybody will be getting mac and cheese. So I can go over here and get something else that has a shorter line, like pizza.
Maybe.
I'm trying to be positive here.
No, I want to be positive as well. I don't want to down on this new park right here. But look, folks, listen, it's this is the first park to open up in the social media era, and there's going to be a lot of demand. And I really do hope that they hold back in ticket sales in order to provide a great experience for everybody. It sounds like they are. Just understand, it's a new thing. So who knows what the big demand items will be and where everybody will go. Oh, go ahead, Erica.
So they're going to need a bigger kitchen.
We're going to need a bigger kitchen. We're probably going to need to have multiple of these stands providing these cones because, man, oh, man, these things have really taken off in a huge way. I mean, everybody's going crazy for these cones, and I think there's a TikTok trend about them and stuff and all that. Go ahead, Nolan.
What's the trend supposed to be for? Do you know?
Well, I get these cones and enjoy them. I believe.
Oh, okay.
Is the trend.
I think everyone can hop on that TikTok trend, even if you're not on TikTok. But I wanted to bring some moment. Look at that art too. Like the dragon, like Toothless. He looks like a cat in it. It looks so cute. Like they put so much thought into this thing. And I tell you, this looks so cool to me. As someone who's not a meat eater, like to see some like cheesy equivalents.
You don't eat meat?
Mac and cheese? No, sorry. But
Erica, we'll go snacking
so
then.
good.
Just shattered my dreams.
I'm sorry.
We'll go snacking, Erica. It's okay. I'll just leave Noah behind.
Just leave me in the dust. Okay, thanks, Vash. Thanks, homie.
Noah, come on, you gotta eat meat. What are you doing, bro? But
You just don't like it, or you just like because it's got a face on it? I don't know. I'm just curious.
Got a face on it. That's why.
Oh, you're one of those. Oh, come on, dude. It's so good.
Oh no, I'm not getting deprived. Bacon is top tier. I don't like my food looking at me though. Like literally, look at it staring at me with those cute eyes. It's like eats me.
Dragon, they don't exist.
Or do they?
you just gotta chow in.
I call baloney. I call baloney, Erica, because there is a meet and greet with a dragon over there where I can tap the snoot of said dragon, but then he's gonna find out I've been eating his brethren, and he's gonna proceed to eat my butt. Like, I don't want to die a vicious death of Epic Universe.
Yeah, that meet and greet is getting all kinds of attention with Toothless there. Some really, really awesome stuff, and I can't find the video that I was going to show.
That
So
is huge. I feel like two people could share that. That looks really big and very filling because bread is very filling.
bread is extremely filling. That's for sure. Here you go. Here's a little Toothless action for you.
Exactly, that's the one. I'm afraid I'm going to get mauled by that thing. It's cute, but it's deadly.
Yeah.
Should someone tell him that it's fake and an animatronic? Oh, oops.
You don't know that. I've seen Five Nights at Freddy's. I know how this stuff works.
This conversation has now gone not safe for magic, Erica. Come on now. I need to break it for us. Now,
Killer boy.
well, and we've had what is it?
Field magic.
I'll leave everybody with this. But the newest audio animatronic that everybody's going crazy for. Let's see if I can get this. This from Theme Park Shark. Here, everybody's going crazy for this little guy, right?
Wow, that's a different one.
Yes,
This
it's
is
Pouncer.
He's so cute.
Gosh, he's like a little mouse.
He is super cute. He is awesome.
I have one.
He is wonderful.
Oh.
I know.
Oh,
It's
I'm gonna cry because my Sophie used to look at me like that. My little Yorkie. Oh my gosh, I can't.
He wiggles his ears. Yes, it is awesome. It is fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
He probably makes little sounds when you go see him at the theme park too, from like speakers. Oh, that'd be so cool.
It's pretty good right there. It's pretty great. Yeah, it's it warms the heart right there. But yeah, Toothless has multiple children. This is one of them. This is Pouncer. So very, very cool. I can't wait to see stuff like this with my own eyes. Epic Universe is going to be absolutely fantastic. But I just want to go ahead and make you aware of what I was hearing and what I was looking at right there. I think Universal will absolutely figure it out. It's just, if there are complications on your first visit, well, it's a new park. So there you go. Let me go ahead and get through some super chats right here. We'll go ahead and wind down the discussion here. Jonas J. Campbell with the $5. Bye, Nolan. Well, boss's orders. See ya. I'm joking. No, we love you. We love you, buddy. Thank you so much for that. The mum with the 199. All I want is the investors to completely pull out. That being a Disney discussion, talking about the Rivers of America, I believe is when that was actually provided. Terrible. What are they doing to Rivers of America? It's absolutely awful. You're going to turn that place into...
recently voted for Disney to keep moving with their stupid messaging. And I'm like, all right, keep shooting yourselves in the foot. I don't feel sorry for you. Because all the crap you want. Guess what? You can't force me to watch. You can't force me to put my money into your rear end. Not going to happen.
So what is it? The guidance from the company was vote no on this initiative to basically pull out of some of the messaging, DEI and so forth, and the investors went along with them. It's not a terrible surprise right there, but just kind of unfortunate. Please just stop destroying this. Could you please? Management and their decisions that they make right now will live with us forever. So please make as little of decisions as you possibly can. And then when we get some people who aren't crazy, maybe then we'll get some better stuff out of that regime. Go and Shogi with $2. They can't rip it out. They ran out of walls. Yeah, they seem to have a deficiency when it comes to walls because of so many products that are currently taking place on both coasts. Very, very interesting.
Ash, could you imagine if they had the same amount of lights as Epic Universe has, like all in unison, and they break? They'd put like all the wood, like they did with the botanical garden over in Disneyland. Like the whole thing just becomes half made of wood and just construction zones. It'd be a train wreck.
That kind of happened actually with the Golden Horseshoe.
Really?
Let me see here. Yeah, for Disneyland. If I can find a post here. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Do apologize. Talk amongst yourselves. I look up some information. But yeah,
right. Look
they
at that
were
beautiful water right there. Oh, that reminds me of America right there.
Yeah, so
it's okay to have America and all this American history, with Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, in Paris. But it's offensive, apparently, to have it in our own country, because these yahoos want to, push their political agenda, make a political statement or trying to disguise it like, oh, no, it's not that. Nah, just shut up. Like, we see through your BS.
Throw them in the water.
We're not stupid, and you guys are freaking retarded. Like, I'm sorry. You're going to you're going to preserve all of Paris Disney, but then we get the short end of the stick. Oh, and by the way, let's not point out the elephant in the room. That Walt himself designed this in Orlando, but he had nothing to do with Disney in Paris because he was long dead.
Erica, I think you meant the Dumbo in the room, and the only Dumbo is Disney World Management right now.
Dumbo needs to get his name back, which was Jumbo.
This is awesome. I love Erica when she gets riled up. It's just fantastic because she speaks a lot of truth.
Game called the Dumbo Company. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just like
it's absolutely terrible. It looks like maybe the walls have gone down. I'm seeing a lot of downtown Disney walls. Sorry, I'm going through a Mice Chat update right now, which might provide me. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is not this week's. This is last week's Mice Chat update. But here you go. That was the wooden walls there around the Golden Horseshoe Saloon, in which they might have ran out of good-looking walls, and they're going with the bad-looking walls, which is quite unfortunate.
Things against walls.
I don't know. There's a lot of them though at Disneyland, so that's really intriguing there. I think that just about wraps us up. I wanted to go ahead and give a big shout out to Ron from Follow the Bradley's Fun. He's a really good sport. He tried to join us for the show. Unfortunately, internet caught up with him. Unfortunate with that, but hey, definitely follow follow the Bradley's Fun over there on YouTube, because they do some amazing work there. And he's always providing B-roll for the channel. He does a lot of stuff for us. So please go ahead and support our panelist there. But Nolan, what you got going over there at Nolan Thunder? Did we finally get the amazingly long-awaited video out talking about some, maybe some weird AI products that Nintendo had done in the 1990s?
I'm so glad you asked, because I'm glad to finally announce that. No, it's still not out yet. But you know what? I am working around the clock to get this video made. And I'll tell you, this video will definitely be done before the Cars Land opens in Disney World. No, okay. So I'm actually really upset, because I was really hoping to have it done in time for May 1st, which would have been the 4-year anniversary of my series Lost in the Files, where I talk about video game mysteries, media mysteries, paranormal, all that jazz. Unfortunately, I've had to make some script changes late in development, but it will turn out much better than a Disney reshoot late in development. I can guarantee you that right now. I was literally filming a scene in a downpour of rain the other day, so it's been a long coming process, but I really recommend, I hate to sound like a 2008 YouTuber, but please subscribe to the channel, because that means that you will be notified, if YouTube does it correctly, that the video has finally been released. And once this video comes out, I can guarantee to you that videos will be coming out way more frequently. It was a big season finale, and it has explosions. No, literally, it does. And it's going to be a wild ride. Thank you, everyone, for following this storyline of, will this video ever come out? I really hope so. So as long as I don't get hit by a meteor in the near future, it should hopefully be out soon.
Nolan? Sorry, we got to continue a little bit here. Universal United Kingdom comes out 2031. If all of the government regulations go as planned, CC asks, will it be out before then?
Well, I'm hoping to go to that. So if it's not done at that point, I will give Vash and Erica permission to slap me across the face and throw me into the rivers of America. Oh, wait. Throw me in front of the Cars attraction about to come in.
I got permission to pull out la chancleta, huh? Okay.
Oh, no.
Vash, I heard something about this wonderful series that has been posting weekly on the T3PO. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, I believe you're talking about The Lost Guys, right? The Lost Guys, starring the one and only Nolan Thunder, along with Henry Table, Martin Stone, and soon-to-be Trish, actually. She hasn't made her debut on T3PO, but is coming very, very soon. Well, that features, content from Nolan Thunder. That is coming out on a weekly basis every single Thursday on this channel right here. You can see their most recent episode, Wolfman versus Godzilla. Very interesting look into a famous fan film now being brought back to life, as everything does on The Lost Guys. Very interesting stuff.
That's never been released, mind you. It's tried and true Lost media. Apparently, there has been about 10 hours of the film made, and we've only seen about a good 20 minutes of it. So we kind of talk a bit about the history of this bizarre film, and it was a fan film made by people who had actually worked on the movies in a bit of a period where they weren't developing new movies. It is a crazy story, and I bring out all the hardcore lore and behind the scenes knowledge on this one. So if you ever want to see a baffling tale, even if you're not into Godzilla, it's an interesting dive, a little bit of a rabbit hole. So please join us, and I am very excited because we're getting closer and closer to Trish joining us here, and we'll have the full crew here. So please keep checking these out. They're coming out weekly, and Mr. Vash has been doing a lot of work to get those out. So please, everyone, give this man all the love and support that he deserves for his work behind the scenes on this show.
Yes, and I razz Nolan, but that's with the understanding that I am way behind on the Genre Guys being on featured as a regular feature of this channel right here. The Genre Guys is coming. Don't worry, folks. It's coming here. It's just, it takes a little bit of time to get all the machinations working behind the scenes there. I mean, if you include that Park Place network of channels and so forth, I think I'm managing about 5 at this current moment right here, or at least contributing to the content production of. So yes, it's a lot, but we're trying to get everything as amazing for you, the viewer, as possible. And yes, Trish, that's from Movie Monster fame. She is a regular feature as part of the Lost Guys. If you subscribe as a member to that Park Place, she's actually featured in those episodes. But after 90 days, it will be coming here. And yes, she hasn't made her debut yet, but she is coming. Speaking of a amazing panelist who produces some amazing work over there at her own channel, Hanging with Erica of Erica and Raph.
Woo!
Erica.
Amazing work. Amazing
well,
work when November.
Okay, well, hey, you know what? You haven't produced anything. You haven't produced anything for a little while. But I know you make your presence known on Lorena's channel on WW Pro. Please tell the viewers here a little bit about yourself and why they should be subscribing to Hanging with Erica and Raph.
Well, we are expats in Germany. Been doing the, we'll say, military DoD thing for 20 years, and kind of new at the empty, semi-empty nest life, the adult child still living at home, and I love it and prefer it that way. And yeah, we're just, got into the YouTube space to just kind of document our family. And then we just kind of been on hiatus. But I've been stream hopping, here in Lorena's Spice Lounge and Lorena's Resort Recon, trying to remember all these streams, and Pro. And on occasion, Follow the Bradley's Fun. Ron, he's got a morning show. So I just kind of hop around wherever I'm invited. That's kind of been the niche I've been in lately. So yeah, but we got some cool stuff, we got.
I love Lorena's Spice Lounge. I think it's a fantastic show right there. And I remember being a regular feature on that show, more regularly than I am now. Anyway, when I had a little bit more time. Unfortunately, I don't have quite as much time as I did. I can't wait to get back on the Spice Lounge. I gotta get back in the Spice Lounge with Lorena. She is absolutely amazing.
It'd be fun to have you on the Spice Lounge.
Oh yeah. It's a good show. It's a great show. I love the montages she puts together before every single program. They are absolutely fantastic. But
I get heated up on there too.
I know you do. I know you do.
I think I may have accidentally demonetized one of her.
I need to hear this. I need to hear this one.
See, Erica, she gets rowdy there. She gets rowdy indeed.
Something about the view, and it was that Spanish lady, and all that. Just like I went off, and I mean I went off. And later in the stream, she goes, "Oh, what the heck? I'm going to show this clip anyways. I'm already demonetized." And I was like, "Was it because of me?"
Well, hey, look. If in fact any of the channels are demonetized, at least you know where to find Hanging with Erica and Raph right there.
In reality, I do have a mouth. Like, when you're around the military, behind scenes, I cuss like a sailor. I'm sorry, that is me. I get it honestly. If you ever met my grandmother, you would understand.
These things happen there.
But I can follow rules. I can play, so whatever rules you put on me for your stream I'm invited on, I will abide by. But sometimes it's hard to give my opinion because I really just want to be like, and I have to really reel it in and compose myself. Yeah. But anyway, there you go, a little bit about me.
I'll join you on the Spice Lounge, and then you can really go off there because the Spice Lounge is a wild place. But you know what though, I really very much appreciate you attending T3PO Live and keeping it clean, at least for the more theme park oriented audience that we have. So very much appreciate that, Erica. Definitely subscribe to Erica's channel right there. What are you doing? And subscribe to Nolan Thunder. Subscribe to Follow the Bradley's Fun, and also to Barry Place 28, Park Streamers Hangout, Theme Park Wizard. Become a member at Pro Show to see more Lou. I don't know. I do all the things because we very much appreciate all the support that you can possibly bring. We are going to be redirecting you to Mr. H for Mr. H reviews, and I think they're still going on right there, and they should still be going on. So good stuff there. Definitely shout out T3PO Raid. We always appreciate that as well. But thank you so much for joining us here on T3PO Live. We are going to be live again next week at the same bat time, same bat channel, as Lou would like to say. That Park Place Live, or Morning Magic, that is, will be at its regularly scheduled time at, 11 a.m. Eastern on Thursdays. Tuesdays might be changing, though. So definitely subscribe to the channels in order to get notified whenever we do go live. That's at That Park Place right there. You can find me on WWE Pro's channel as well, and here on That Pod Place. Definitely follow me if you're interested in my content wherever you would like to. Very much appreciate that. Hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button yet. Hit the subscribe button because, hey, you know what? We're all interested in those amazing theme park stories as well. Hollywood Backlight with Lou and you, Tuesdays and Sunday. Tuesdays, 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Sundays, Eastern, right there. Sorry, it's been a long day. We will see you all later. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Until next time. See, wrong. It was the wrong button right there. That was the wrong button. That was the Hollywood Backlight with Lou and you button. Man, I've been up since like 5. Sorry, guys. We'll see you later.